What is up, everybody, from our AT&T 5G virtual studios? Welcome to MLS Club and Country, the Watchalong show. This is such a big day, and we have such a rock star group of people joining us today. I'm Susannah Collins, alongside my amigo, David Goss, and we also have Pa-Modou Kah, former pro. He is currently the coach of North Texas SC in MLS Next Pro, but he is very, very, very well-versed in Canadian soccer. He played for the Whitecaps, coaching Pacific FC in the Canadian Premier League, where in 2021, he was named the Coach of the Year. And it is a perfect guest for us today because for the first time, guys, in 36 years, Canada will be playing in a World Cup as they take on Belgium in Group F competition. This is incredible. I'm so excited. I got put on my Shania Twain t-shirt just for the occasion. Honestly, she's like the queen of Canada, right? So this was my effort. Goss, I see you looking incredible as well, all decked out. Love it.
Oh, Canada.
Pa, what a big day for this country. As I said, I know that you are so familiar with this team, with this country. What do you think is going through the players' minds right now? How big is this moment for these players and for Canada as a whole?
Huge moment. They've been waiting 36 years for this moment, and they're looking very much forward to it. And the players are definitely in awe because it's the greatest stage that they can be in. They get a little bit of butterflies in there, but I hope it's great butterflies because they have to show up and show out because they got a country behind them. Two countries behind them, to be honest, USA and Canada. It is important. It is important.
Goss, what do you think? You love this team. I know you're a big Canada guy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going through their minds right now as they meet this moment?
I think you obviously, as Pa talked about, right? The nerves, the emotions. You've got such a range as well. You've got Atiba Hutchinson at 39 years old making his World Cup debut. And then you've got teenagers in this team who are trying to figure out their step and how they handle this stage. The one thing we've seen from Canada over the last 3-4 years is in moments like this, they stick together, they play tight, and they attack. And I think their thought process right now is to show the world what they know they're capable of. And it's an opportunity that you don't ever get. And we can all talk, as much as we love qualifying in the first round of qualifying in the Gold Cup group stage and all of this, but this is the biggest stage these players have ever been on. And this is their chance to show that what they've built is real and the world should know Canada's name in a soccer sense on the men's side.
100%. It does not get bigger than the World Cup, y'all. And just want to remind everybody that throughout this entire stream, this is about you. We want you to guide the conversation. So get in that YouTube chat. Let us know your thoughts, questions that you might have, as well as the Twitch chat. And I want to remind everyone too, we have Christina Uncle with us in the house. So if there are any sort of refereeing issues that we want to touch on, we have the best in the business with us as well. But let's take a look at the starting 11 for Team Canada. And Pa, what do you make of this? Any surprises as you look at this lineup?
Well, I'm a little bit surprised. I was hoping Sam Adekugbe to play because I think he's done very well playing as a left wing back. Obviously, he's going for experience by bringing in Hoylett onto the right side and moving Larrea onto the left. But I think it would have been better if you had Larrea right and Sam in there on the left. It would give you more stability. But it's a great lineup and looking forward to see what they can do.
Love it. All right, let's switch it on over to Belgium's starting 11, David Goss. This is a formidable opponent.
It is. They've gone as aggressive as they can. We know Lukaku's out with an injury, so Batshuayi starts up top. Eden Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne, I don't have to say much more. Elite central midfield as well with Yuri Tillemans and Witsel. I guess the one surprise is Leo Dondecker. We thought maybe it would be De Boss, the 18-year-old who's worked his way in alongside the senior citizens that he plays back there with in Elderweireld and Vertonghen. Yes, the same ones you watched 5, 10, 12 years ago. And that's the weakness. That's the hole that Canada is going to try and take advantage of.
Whew, guys, we are just about 5 minutes away from kickoff of this one. If you're watching the broadcast right now, Canada fans, I love it. They're in full voice. They are very, very well represented at this World Cup in Qatar. Let's go back to Canada, because some of you in the chat are very excited to see Alphonso Davies in this lineup, and a lot of questions. Is he fully fit, Pa? What do we know about his fitness level as we get ready for this matchup against Belgium?
Well, obviously, he went down against Hertha Berlin with a hamstring injury. After talking to him, he said he's fully fit, and he's a player that he needs to be fully fit and to be ready to go. And I think he's fully fit. Otherwise, he will not play. I don't think Bayern want to take the risk, or would Herdman take the risk, given that they have 2 more games. But when Fonzie says he's fit, I believe he's fit, so I'm looking for him to have a major impact.
I mean, I think we are so excited to watch Alphonso Davies in a World Cup. Goss, we were on MLS yesterday talking about it, and I think, was he Doyle's man to watch? Was he the one that he was most excited about, Alphonso Davies? I mean, what are you going to be looking for from him?
It's one of those things where it's so fun and exciting to watch the person they're capable of do it on the biggest stage, right? Yeah. And so what Doyle talked about yesterday, and what I have been thinking about, is just when the game opens up for a moment, and Alphonso Davies, what we saw against Panama in World Cup qualifying, where he's world class already at a young age. It's exciting to think about those moments, and for him to do it against the best players in the world with Belgium, and he does it for Bayern already, as well as doing it for Canada. And so that's so exciting to see him. And I think this World Cup, there's a lot that Canada wants to accomplish. I think one of the biggest things is you need to make Alphonso Davies one of the biggest athletic stars in Canada. He needs to be the face of sports in that country. He needs to be the face of 2026, and he can represent growth, I think, and a connection to the team, because he's so likable. Not as likable as Pa, of course. Pa has to keep him in his place.
Fonzie goes.
But he's up there.
No, that one is for Fonzie. Fonzie is huge. Fonzie is massive. And I think, to your point, making him the biggest poster boy, together maybe with Pulisic or Reina or Tyler Adams, I think it's huge for the sport of Canada. And it's seen is taken along, because seeing where he came from to becoming a Canadian citizen, like it is a Hollywood story. So hopefully that when he's done and dusted, he likes to be an actor and a singer. Maybe he make a movie about himself.
If you watch his TikToks, like if you watch his social media, like I 100% think he has a future. Have you seen it, Pa? Do you follow him?
Oh yeah, I just follow him on Instagram. I don't have TikTok, so but I do see everything he does, and yeah. Like he's a lovely kid, humble, down to earth, and like having fun. And I think that's the youthful side that I want to see from him in this World Cup, because the moment can get to you. Obviously, he's going to be a little bit nervous. It is his first big tournament, but I think, given who he is and knowing him, I think he's just going to continue to have fun, because he got to meet one of his biggest idol in Messi, playing against him in a semifinal. So I don't think this one will do much.
He's going to be all right. We know this too, that in the World Cup, this is where stars are made, right? Like you have a good World Cup, and the entire world knows who you are, and this could be a massive tournament for a guy like Alphonso Davies, who, as you mentioned, also has just an incredible personality. We had some more Group F action earlier today, a scoreless draw between Morocco and Croatia. Goss, what were your takeaways from that match?
I think from a Canada point of view, it set the stage. Neither team get a win. Neither team get a goal. That keeps you in the running no matter what happens here. So that's actually really fortunate. I thought Morocco came out and played well. They stuttered early in 2018 at the World Cup, and then they had to play catch up. And while they're a team that has good attacking pieces, I think they're at their best in their block, then pressing out of that. And so they showed that they could do that at a high level. I thought they gave Croatia a lot of problems in possession. And now with a draw in game one, it sets the stage for Morocco to play the group stage they'd like to play. And on the flip side with Croatia, I think you saw some of the holes in this team. It's 4 returners really from the World Cup final team. So it is a different team, even though Luka Modric and Perisic and guys like that are back. But at the same time, Luka Modric looked up for it. And even maybe with Kevin De Bruyne in this group and Alphonso Davies, he might be the best player in Group F.
Oof, definitely some firepower. We are just moments away from kickoff. As soon as it does, I'll let you guys know like where we're at, where we're starting the clock, and then you guys can kind of sync up with us. So as soon as that happens, and it looks like we're just like a few minutes away. Before we do that, real quick, Pa, I want you to put your coaching hat on right now. If you're John Herdman right now, what's your last message to the team as they take the field?
Well, I mean, given that it's 36 years, have fun, be brave, be courageous, and I think if Canada does that, they will surprise Belgium.
I love that.
So I mean, it's a moment to savor. So I think that's the message from him.
Goosebumps! I love it. Spoken like a coach of the year. Hey, see what I did there? I'll keep. And the champion, exactly. Oh my God, can't forget that. So guys, we are just about ready to start kickoff.
You didn't kick off yet, Susannah?
No, I'm behind.
All right, I'm pausing and going back. God,
I'm sorry, guys. It's just we're working with.
Oh, Fonzie is actually playing left wing.
Yeah. And so, Pa, you talked about Adekugbe. That was one of the big question marks I thought the whole time coming into this, and I'm also a little let down by the decision. Not that just that Sam's been so good.
All right, guys, we're off now. We are at yes, we're at 7 seconds if you want to sync up.
But he also, I think, his flexibility that he's shown to be able to defend inside against center forwards physically, but then cover ground, I think that unleashes Fonzie at his best. And that's where putting Richie and Junior in there, I get Junior, like that's giving you experience. I think Richie Laryea is another one of these options. And I understand wanting to have flexibility out there, but I just think it takes something away defensively for Canada.
Well, I mean, given that maybe he's going for what Fonzie been playing lately, which is to put him in the position that he's used to playing, allow him that role to roam forward, and he has Kamar Miller back. And then, but for me, I think having Sam behind Fonzie and having Fonzie in on the front, especially in this game, could be dangerous for Canada because of his speed with Jonathan David, and then Tajan Buchanan underneath Jonathan David would be a massive threat. But also having Fonzie coming from behind and attack could be also very dangerous. But I would have rather seen Sam in there. A little bit biased, but you know, just.
But I think he's earned it over the course of the tournament or the course of qualifying, because his play is what allowed them to push Alphonso Davies higher for Canada, and they wouldn't have been able to do it if he doesn't emerge over the course of the last few years, grinding through in Scandinavia and then in Turkey. And that's been a big part for Canada.
100%. I agree 100%. And I think that is one of the reasons why, for me, that he should have been playing. And again, to the threat that we talked about, it would be because Belgium's back line is an older one. And I think having speed kills in this game. You know, when you have speed, you can be very dangerous. And Fonzie has that. And I don't think there's anybody that can keep up with him.
Guys, just a reminder here too that with the chat is open. I have the YouTube chat up on my screen, so if you have questions, if you have comments, please get in there and let us know. Jelly Rat, thank you. You just want a Canada win. I love that. I hear that. Also, we've got the live group standings just to the left of our screen here, so that will be updated in real time as you watch along. But we're a few minutes in. Yeah, Gus.
I appreciate Alec the Acrobat on Twitch, who says, love that Goss is on this too perfect in Montreal with his bottle right now. I bought a bottle of whiskey in Montreal that remains in the bar that you can drink anytime you go.
Okay.
Assuming CF Montreal would host more playoff games. They proceeded to lose in the next round that I was not at. And I have 1 year to drink it. So I will see you Montreal quite soon.
Heck yeah. I mean, as if you needed another excuse to go to Montreal, right? Decent city.
It's the only thing to do when you go to Montreal.
I mean, Canadian whiskey is pretty special. Let's be honest. There's a lot of great things about Canada, guys. Too many to count.
Being one of them.
100%. My daughters were born there, so that's a beautiful thing.
The greatest Canadian export ever. Pa's two beautiful daughters. What do we make of this start from Canada so far? I know we're only just a few minutes in, but anything that you're seeing, Pa? Well,
they're being brave, you know, and I think it's going to be a game that they need to be brave, because they must have that. I would say fear. Don't have no fear, you know. Play courageous, and Belgium has more to lose than Canada. because they haven't been in this stage for 36 years. And Canada has, fun fact for you, Dave, by the way, Canada has not scored in World Cup yet.
Ever.
Ever.
No,
They have
really?
0 goals.
That's a great nugget.
0 goals.
Yeah.
So seeing them now being brave and being on the front foot, I think Canada can get something out of the game, especially now in the first 15 minutes to see how the game play out. I think that we're going to see. So far,
Pa, I'm
liking
curious.
what I'm
When
seeing.
you saw the group that Canada was in, what was your initial reaction? Did you think that, oh, this is going to be? I mean, like, this is a really tough group for them, or did you kind of always think that there was a good chance that they could emerge from this? Like, how do you rate the competition?
Well, I think they have a good chance as anybody in this group, and especially the first game is the most important game. Can you get something out of the first game, and that will build your momentum? And as we've seen in this World Cup, momentum is the biggest thing that teams are having. We've seen 2 upsets because of a momentum. So can Canada build the momentum that they built throughout the qualifying and into this first game? And I think once they do it, they'll be flying.
Nothing
They
to
have
lose.
nothing to lose.
I love that.
So for me, it's like, be brave, play. They have
This is
nothing to
great.
lose.
I had somebody asked me this earlier today, and I thought it was a really good question. Is there any team so far that we've seen in the World Cup that you think are like living up to expectations? I know, like, we haven't seen Brazil play yet, for example, but like the one that came to mind, because obviously Argentina was a favorite, and then they lose to Saudi Arabia, and I'm trying to think of a team that like came out, was expected to be a favorite, and have performed that way. And I guess France maybe was one that came to mind, but is that?
Yeah.
Are we on the right track there anymore?
Yeah, I mean, Spain just won 7-0.
That's true.
So
yes.
that puts them in that convo as
Yes.
well, where France did go down 1-0, although it was very short time. Spain coming out, dominating, playing their soccer. There's also a question mark for Spain of like, who are your finishers? And so to not play Morata and still have everyone finish their opportunities and show the danger they can have without maybe a true center forward. I thought that was a really good day for Spain. So they would be, especially after Germany loses to Japan, right? And so now you've got everyone else fighting. Are you guys ahead of me?
There's been some they're fighting.
Are we allowed to say?
Absolutely.
Canada is playing good at this moment.
I am. This was a lovely ball in from Tejan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canada is on the front foot. Canada is on the front foot. So I think what that has been John's message. You know, be brave, and you can see it and you can sense it. This is a team that, through the build-up, the brotherhood that they have, and the momentum that they created for themselves. Handball. I mean, this is good.
I'm really like.
How nice would it be? How nice would it be if they had scored the goal? Playing in Belgium and be able to score a goal. And I think he's well in his stance as well.
And this first 15 minutes to me, this was the fear, because for a lot of the players out there, or some of the players out there, they came into the national team in 2020, and Canada, up until 2 months ago, hadn't played a non-CONCACAF team. And so for Kamal Miller and Alistair Johnston and players like that, this is all a learning experience. Are we about to get a penalty?
Oh, no.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Go on there. That's the start we need. That's the start we need.
So to me, just saying, Canada went down 1-0 against Uruguay. They went down early 1-0 against Japan. That's where they've struggled. Let's go.
That's a penalty. That's a penalty. That is
it
that's going to be given.
Eustachio to take? Fonzie?
Well, I think most likely will be Eustachio. I mean, I would love Fonzie to take it, but I think they have their takers, and I think Eustachio will be the one to take it. It will be a lot of noise
here already for FC Porto.
Will he give it? The thing is, will he give it?
Guys, I think this is a perfect time to bring in our resident referee expert, Christina Uncle. Christina, what are you seeing here?
So it was a really good spot by the VAR to see that handling offense. Right, we talked about your body outside the silhouette. It's a shot on goal, creating a barrier, and natural for this context to play. So it was a very good recommendation by the VAR for a penalty, and that the referee does give the penalty for it. So penalty, yellow card would be the recommendation here. And
Fonzie is taking
Let's go.
Let's go.
Fonzie.
This is, I mean, what a start. What a start, guys.
Fonzie's taking it. Take the,
Christina, thank you so much
Take
for
your
that.
time.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Christina.
Stay on standby.
No
I'm sure
worries. I
there'll
think
be
I'm ahead of
more.
you guys too.
Oh, no way. Can
That's
I
one
go
of the-
back ahead then? I
No.
came back so I could be with Susannah.
Wait, how do I know? What the heck? Oh, wait. I hate being behind.
Stay calm on this. Well, I think Christina was a little bit excited, so maybe
Okay.
you know maybe the
Oh,
result
God.
of it.
As long as he scores, I don't even care. Someone can ruin it
Oh,
for
no.
me.
I think I see on the chat what just happened. This is not.
This is forever, too. This is
Why?
brutal.
I feel like these, like a lot, the penalty kicks are taking a really long time in this tournament.
Oh! Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Let's go again. He telegraphed that one. It's all right. Get your head in the game.
Okay. So.
Still,
Oh, man.
still long way to do it. It's a long game, but I like the
Yeah.
start. I like the start. It's a great start in the sense because
It's just so frustrating, though.
maybe it is because now we talk
Mhm.
about momentum. This
Right.
could have been a great momentum for Canada to build up within the first 15 minutes. But again, this can happen in a game. So now the biggest thing going to be like, how does he keep
Can we
himself
get
cool?
Christina to explain to us if Courtois is in a legal spot?
No,
seriously.
Was he off his line?
Well, he started behind. He steps forward, but only 1 foot steps forward, which I think is legal.
Oh,
I was just asking because they showed that angle
can we bring Christina back
on the
and ask her?
broadcast. Man, that's brutal. And
I think we're bringing Christina back on, Gus.
okay.
So you can. There she is.
I didn't know that you were much of.
I have a feeling
I told
Goss
you
and I
it
are going to
wouldn't
have
be
a
long.
running
It wouldn't be
communication
long.
change today.
Listen, to be clear, no offense. I don't really love talking about refs that much. Like, they are who they are. I don't like complaining. I don't like caring. But I'm just asking if that was legal.
Yeah, that is legal. So the law did change a couple years ago. You only need 1 foot on the line from when the shot is taken. We did look at it. That was really tight too, because when I looked at it, I was like, ooh, but that would be clear. We're good with that one. And really, to kind of let people know, the responsibility of the keeper encroachment actually resides with the VAR because they have the best angle to see it.
Interesting.
Great.
Not the AR. So now you'll see the assistant referee no longer comes really deep in anymore, where they used to, where the connection of the penalty area line and the goal line. They now stand far behind in the back because video don't lie.
Video don't lie. Hey, Christina, while we have you on, I know that there have been some points of emphasis in the refereeing spectrum, and it's the stoppage, the new stoppage time rules have people in a tizzy. Like if you get on Twitter, like this is the thing that people are going nuts about. Can you kind of elaborate on how that came about and like what it's meant in this tournament, like how it's affected it?
So it's interesting because, our chair of referees for this World Cup and has been for the past 3 is a name that everyone recognizes, Piero Corlina, right? Italian referee. He's been in charge for the past 8 to 12 years. And it's interesting where he says that we had been implementing this since Russia. And so I went back to go take a look at Russia to see how much extra time we had. We did not have this much time that we've added into it. And
Did it? Oh,
I know, right? I'm looking at it too right now with you guys. A lot of the focus is on FIFA doesn't want to lose time due to players time wasting, right? There's natural stoppages in time from throw-ins to goal kicks, etc. They have the statistics behind it. I think it's like 3 minutes for every goal scored, even if it's not excessive goal celebration. They want the ball in play. They want a full 90 minutes. But I think the problem that we're having here, so they are going to be overly generous as we've seen, right? We've seen 24 minutes in total, right, for the England game the other day, right?
Wow.
Today we're already having a game that why do we need an extra 7 minutes, right? or 5 minutes or whatever it is that we ended up putting when it was clear, right? But goal differential does and can matter. So at least right now from where the officials are being required to, which the VAR is helping to track that time and provide that information to the fourth official, they want any time delay wasting by the players to be added on. And that's where you're seeing the significant amount of time. Probably not the best time to introduce it because the whole football world's not expecting it. But yeah, that's why you're seeing, I think the smallest amount of time we've ever seen to this date is 4 minutes.
God, it's been wild. It's like 9 minutes. 9 minutes. What?
I think Landon's line in the first half of the Costa Rica game was it's 5 minutes, which means 1 minute from when I used to play.
It's
like that. You're saying 5 minutes is as little as you can get.
I've kind of been joking because it reminds me of like when you watch basketball, right? Like there's like 2 minutes left on the clock. I just get up and leave. Yeah, and I'm like, I'll just come back later because we'll still be playing for another 20 minutes, right? And it's like, I think that was one thing I loved about our game is that, you know, we always laughed. It's the common 3-minute rule, right? You always saw 3 minutes go. When in doubt, round to 3, right? And that's what everyone's expecting. So to introduce this really strict additional amount of time at the biggest, you know, tournament in the entire world without really seeing it happen before is we didn't need to add this. We have enough talking points. We don't need to create more drama on our side.
I'm with you.
But isn't that
It is a FIFA thing. It is a FIFA thing. It's something that goes through, right? The direction when you're an official and you go to these tournaments, you are told what the points of emphasis and how we have to implement it. Whether we agree with it or not, that's not really up to us, right? We have to implement it. As you've seen, there's another FIFA points of emphasis is strict refereeing. If you think of the USA game versus Wales, how many yellow cards we had out of the gate so quickly, right? And you've seen a couple of, you know, easier yellows that have come out. And that's based on they want protection and safety of the players because this is tournament play where if you get one player hurt, they're out for the rest of the tournament, right? So they want us to be very, very strict with that. But at the same time, then that's in tension with yellow card accumulation issues, right? 2 yellow cards, you sit out. So we're going to have some growing pains, let me put it this way, based on the points of emphasis.
Can I ask you a cliche question that I'm sure you've talked about for 10 straight days in that line of thinking, which is they've also extended the amount of time to not put the flag up. So it feels like on the one side, tight yellows to keep guys healthy, but on the flip side, you have Japanese and German players sliding in on balls that are clearly dead.
Yeah.
Don't those aren't they counterproductive?
They can be counterproductive, you know, and the arguments are on both sides. Anytime there's been a decision for, like you say, the delay offside flag to allow potentially VAR be opened up if there's a goal in the back of the net, the analysis is, yes, there's arguments on both sides. However, for some reason, they say it's a football expectation and community that they would rather have goals. Like they basically outweighed goals a little bit more than fouls. Okay. And so it might have won by a 60-40. So it's a great argument. Okay. It's just they say we prefer goals than the potential for harm if someone continues to play that position out.
I also like goals, so I'll accept it.
We will accept it. Amazing stuff. Christina, thank you. We'll let you watch the game some more, but I'm sure we'll be calling on you very shortly. We Sounds appreciate good. You. Oh my God. Guys, Canada looks good. Can I just say?
They do look good.
No, Canada looks great. Canada been pressing them high and playing very brave, which we talked about, and that's what we're seeing right now. Because I think right now the next 15 minutes is very crucial for Canada because they came out very strong. Now, how can they maintain it and not give anything away? You know, be compact in their blocked and make it very difficult.
I was just going to say I'm impressed how they've responded after the missed penalty because, like, you know, sometimes there can be a drop off after that. You know, like you had control and now you don't. And I've been very impressed, like how they've responded after that.
I mean, that is important because, again, always say that was the momentum that they got, but then couldn't capitalize it. Now it's okay, on to the next one. Because you have to have that quick shift of mindset of, okay, on to the next one. Because it's still a long game, right? They can still win this game at the 90th minute. Would be maybe great if they will do it. But again, it's a long game. And now we started the game the first 15 by being high pressure, playing very brave. Now can we, So these are, he didn't see it.
That is fortunate.
That's a fortunate one because normally with Kevin De Bruyne, this is something that he will see.
And I was going to say, Pa, I think one of the most successful things so far in this game is how deep De Bruyne has dropped in the last build out. He dropped into the right back spot to try and find the ball. And like, yeah, you don't want him to touch it ever, but if he does, you'd rather it be behind midfield than in a dangerous area alongside your box.
Of course, you always want the best players from the opposition to be in their own half because they're the least dangerous in their own half. You don't want him touching the ball between the lines where he could be dangerous, just like the moment we saw a couple of seconds ago, which normally De Bruyne will slip it to the right and maybe it's a 1-0. So having him dropping deep to get into the ball, I think that is great for Canada. Can they maintain it now becomes the question.
We have a comment in the chat that I want to direct to Pa. Jean-Francois Perron says, do you like that? Do you like I did my French Canadian accent? Thank you. He says the issue for Canada is the depth in the lineup. What is your take on the depth of this roster?
Well, again, it's a starting point, because if you look at Canadian soccer, what it was to where it is now, right? They don't have the depth that US have, but it's coming. And having the nation qualify for World Cup, that will bring future footballs. It will bring future soccer players. And then they will see 2026 also as a reason to grow the game more. And to David's point about having Fonzie become a poster child for the country in the sense of football, that will help a lot. But also, we must give credit to the country having their own league as well, because that will help grow it. And the CPL, even for myself as a coach, it was brilliant and great experience to be able to be there and coach there for 2 seasons, because that helps you. And this league will continue to grow. But also having the MLS had played a huge factor. Being able to have 3 Canadian teams and seeing many of these players have gone through the MLS system and academies to be able to play in this game is huge. So that will continue to play a part. MLS will continue to play a part, and hopefully the CPL will also help the growth of it.
And the CPL's already helped put a player on this roster, Joel Waterman, right? His professional career probably would never have started if the CPL didn't exist. And then you look at MLS, after Orlando even, I don't know that Richie Larea has a team. If there's not a Canadian team who says, hey, we need more Canadian players, here's an opportunity, and full credit to him, he took advantage. But the opportunity exists because you've got those 3 Canadian teams. Kamal Miller, Alistair
100%.
Johnston, all kind of in a similar spot.
Yes, 100%. And many of these players also played maybe in a semi-professional league, which was League One Ontario. So when we go back to having the depth of Canada maybe not be for this World Cup, but come 2026, I think they will even have a stronger depth, because then that is four more years, to help grow the league, but also grow these players. So I think come 2026, they will have a different.
And I would say to the question, Susannah, specifically about this World Cup, because everyone actually ended up being healthy and there was a ton of question marks, and Fonzie's healthy, Eustachio, Atiba, all of them. We talked about Sam Adekugbe as well, someone that we have all said you trust in a game like this. We've talked, you can talk about Kyle Larin, who is a starting level player. I think Jonathan Osorio easily can play at this level. I trust Mark Anthony Kaye as well. You've got Ismail Kone, who's going to be your wild card off the bench if you need to break a deadlock or get back. This team, now that it's healthy, not every position, center back's a bit of a question mark, but they do have depth to them. I think Dane St. Clair, a player you trust, even without Maxime Crépeau. So there is depth to this team over the course of this group stage.
Guys, I'm so far behind. I hate this. This is my...
you're behind us. I moved back to be equal to you.
I'm like somehow like, I don't know if I just lagged. I don't know what has happened. But I hear you guys react. It's kind of fun, actually. I mean, it's like...
this is where now Canada...
Lord. Woo! Okay, I saw what you just saw. Okay, so we have a question in the chat from Lawrence Yang. What up, Lawrence? Thank you for your cue. He wants to know, Pa, can Canada keep up this press? Like, it's how...
Well, I mean, that's what we talked about, right? Because the adrenaline and then being their first ever World Cup, you're coming in flying, but then it's, can you maintain the momentum? And that is what's going to play a part. And we see now that Belgium, who started a little bit sluggish, is getting a little bit of, they're getting into the game. So that's where Canada now has to, I don't know the game plan, but hopefully the game plan is 10, 15 minutes, high press, then be a little more compact. But it will be tough to keep it up the whole 90 minutes. But if they can do it, I think there's an opportunity for them to get something out of this game.
That's been one of the big stories of the World Cup is the U.S. couldn't maintain it. Germany today, right, couldn't maintain it. Japan shifts the momentum for the second half, had just enough to hold on for the 45. Teams have struggled to maintain their performance over the course of 90 minutes. It's the teams that handle the bad moments better that have gotten out of a lot of the tight games.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you said, we've seen it. We saw it with
Yeah.
Saudi. We saw it with Japan. You know, we saw it with the US, who for me, besides Spain, played the most complete first half I've seen of any team play in this World Cup. And I think that if they could have maintained it and get a second goal, Belgium is getting dangerous here. Belgium is starting to get into the game, and
playing
now
Fonzie where you're playing him, which is you need him in the attack, and Tielemans is now and Hazard are sitting on their right behind where Fonzie's attacking from, and it's been open every time.
I mean, that's why for me, I think it would have been if you allowed Fonzie to be attacking threat. I think Belgium also would hold back a little more because they know the danger that he can cause. Because all those three center backs, they don't want to run with Fonzie. I don't think nobody want to run with Fonzie in world football because you will be left behind and then you will look silly. But I think John went for playing him back because that's where he's been playing and that's where he wants to get him comfortable. Understanding maybe that he can break from deeper position, but to your point, defensively is something that also is a give and take, right? That's what you do when you have players like Fonzie, who is versatile to play many positions. It's like, okay, where's your give and take, offensive or defensive?
Guys, if you're just joining us, just this a reminder, this is our MLS Club and Country watch-along show of Canada and Belgium Group F action. And we have Derek Jackson in the chat asking, are they showing the game on here? The answer is no, we are not. We don't have the rights to do that, but we are watching the game and you are joining us as we give our live commentary as it happens. So that's what we are doing here. I am with David Goss and Pa-Modou Kah. We're about.
Let's go, Fonzie.
Come on.
Go on. There you are.
Hit it.
Lay it off. Hit it. Would that have been a great story if Ativa could score in this one? One of the oldest players beside which player? Do you know the oldest player to score in a World Cup? Come on, Dave.
The oldest player
Goss knows
score.
this. He has to know this.
Is it Miroslav Klose?
He used to dance after scoring goals in the corner
Roger
flag.
Mila? Yes.
There you go, sir.
Thank you, Pa, for being there and helping me along. I appreciate you.
I
that's
like
what we
Pa's
do,
dropping in some like great little gems of information in this stream, and I'm here for it. I like it.
Test him a little bit. I just want to.
But you guys go way back. I feel like there's like a really good rapport here. There's a lot of ribbing, which I'm enjoying.
To be clear, before knowing Pa, just said Pa was the best person in Major League Soccer, so we got off to a pretty good start.
I mean,
once we got to know each other.
It's a lovely.
Yeah, I flattered him first, then we got to know.
That's how it works, though. You know, right?
Yeah,
you create that.
No, but I think it was during COVID, Pa, where we got to meet or digitally, and his Pacific teams were incredible to watch over the 2 years he was there, and then winning the title at Forge, which is not something anyone else has ever done in the CPL. So it was really cool to watch that happen, and then I get to learn from him every once in a while when I text him questions.
How often do you text him questions?
Oh, very often.
Pa, are you like this guy again? Come on, bro. I've had it.
Nah, but to be honest, he was giving me some games, and that got me intrigued. And I'm like, oh, okay, he knows his stuff, which is always nice when you can speak to people that know his stuff. And look at him.
He is.
He's a passionate guy.
No one more passionate about this.
And he's passionate for Canada.
Facts.
And I'm like,
look at that shirt. Look at him wearing his Canada shirt.
It came last night, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, did you order it specifically for this tournament?
I ordered like 2+ weeks ago, and it finally arrived.
Oh, were you sweating a little? You were like, oh, man.
Well, I also got a sweatshirt, so I was physically sweating in there. Let's go. Oh, that's a foul.
The game is evening out a little bit. There you go, Richie. I mean, question to you guys: when you watch Canada now, do they look like a first team, being 36 years away, or do they look somebody that they belong
to me? From what I'm like, especially like going through qualifying, what we've seen today, I like it because you know what they say, Pa? They're like, act like you've been here before. Like, I feel like they're acting like they've been here before, and I like it.
Well, 100%. And again, to the point that for me now, when I'm watching the World Cup and seeing
Referee!
Do we have a
There's
second
no
one?
chance. Christina can tell us, but there's no chance. You're not getting two.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
No, Pi, you had a sort of career arc similar to some of these players where it wasn't, a lot of these guys, it wasn't linear. And I feel like the life experience of betting on yourself and being isolated and figuring stuff out, it is created the team culture, which is they step on a stage they've never been on before and they act like they have, and they have their self-confidence. And that's where I think Canada has really impressed people over the last few years is first time in the final round of CONCACAF qualifying, they play like dominant, they play dominant. Gold Cup even, at the Azteca, like all those moments, and you see it again.
Well, that come also because of they have a coach who believe in them. They have a coach who's a great motivator. They have a coach who brought that brotherhood because it was Canada didn't have this unity that they have right now. And you could feel it, you can sense it amongst the players. So that's why being a coach and having a coach that motivates you, give you this strong belief of what you can achieve. And that's been shown in Canada now. And not only for the players, but for the whole country. Canada is now believing that they belong to be where they are. Because before, they were looked at differently. And the same goes with MLS. That's why I always tell my European... That's why I always tell the people that football here in the US is changing. Football in Canada is changing. US and Canada belongs right now. Because we've seen it. And to go in World Cup and US play the way they played against Wales the first half, I was very impressed and I was very happy because I think it's a testament to the MLS, it's a testament to the MLS academies that we are trending the right direction. We are showcasing our qualities, and which is going to be massive come also 2026. I hope that both teams can qualify out of the group because come then 2026, I have a bet that US or Canada will go far. That is a bet I have. And I think that will happen. But to your point with these players also having different route to become a pro, it's massive. If you look at the Tejan Buchanan coming out from the draft, Alistair Johnson.
Oh man, Fonzie just put someone on the ground.
That you like,
I love it.
So that's massive.
Yeah, no. And Pot, and one of the things,
David.
and you've seen it, you've worked in the Vancouver Academy and around it, and obviously now with North Texas and Dallas, like these players are now playing Belgian U16 teams, Club Bruges U17 teams consistently, and they see, one, what it takes, the level, the different styles, but two, they can have self-belief that they've always matched these players at every age. They can still do it. Come on, Fonzie.
No, 100%. I think because of that and because of the exposure that football has now in the US and the exposure that it's the global game. And that's why you see more and more results and more how the game is played overall in the world. It's now becoming less and less about the dominant teams or the dominant countries. Because let's say 4 or 5 World Cups ago, Japan is not beating Germany. Saudi is not beating Argentina. Because the exposure of the global game now is so huge, it's so massive for everybody. And these players in the US are showcasing in Canada that they belong. And for me, that's the biggest thing. Also, coaching-wise, we're helping these players develop. We're helping these players grow. And that's why the MLS Next Pro, the MLS Academies, MLS is massive. MLS is massive for the North American players.
Yeah, it's going to be fun because all of these players now have an avenue to become coaches, right? And so the experience they have here is not just for their career. They're going to pass it along in the country. And we also have to add John Herdman, by the way. We talked no experience at World Cups. He does. He took the women's team to the World Cup. They made their best ever run in 2015 as hosted. FIFA things are different. I've been trying to say this to people all year is you go to a FIFA event, the way FIFA moves you around, puts you in the locker rooms, brings you all of that's unique. Herdman has that experience on the women's side, and he's bringing that to this team to make things feel more normal.
100%. No, he has the experience. I mean, he has the experience. For me, experience is experience. Doesn't matter where you get your experience. He's been into a women's game. He's been to a World Cup. So he has that experience. And now he's bringing it to the men's side, which I think will be a huge factor for the players, because now they can lean on him. They can lean on the coach who has that experience.
I love this comment from Gio Luna, who says Canada has Sidney Crosby ready to come off the bench in the 75th minute. Okay, but like, which is very funny. Thank you, Gio, for making us chuckle. But like, obviously, Canada, huge hockey country. Where is soccer? Like, how fast is soccer becoming a major sport for this country?
It's becoming because of the exposure of Fonzie going to one of the biggest team in the world at such a young age, the exposure of having MLS, and as well as now they're having their own league, right? So it's growing. Will it outgrow hockey? We shall see. Will we get a can we get a Sidney Crosby 2.0 on the pitch, soccer pitch? I think that would be great, So
and the other thing to point out, and I'd highly recommend for anyone, Josh Cloak, writer for The Athletic, he's at the World Cup covering Canadian soccer. He wrote a book called Voyagers about Canada since 1986. One of the things he keys in on is both the political decision in Canada to open up the borders to much more people from other countries, immigrants, refugees as well, which you see with Alphonso Davies. And then he keys in on around the mid-2000s, letting the national team lean into those players and their styles to let them be themselves. And so the sport is growing because the pockets of people who are soccer first has grown in the country. And now it's an avenue to be a professional. It used to be, my parents are Italian or my parents are English or Scottish, but I will still play hockey if I want to be a pro athlete. Now the options, as Pa said, with the league and with MLS exist for you to take it to that level. And you just have to look at this team, right? You've got every single player on this field has a parent or was born in another country. And that's the strength for the Canadian national team.
Well, as it stands right now, still scoreless between Belgium and Canada, but Canada has played very positively. This has been a very open game. I want you to once again put the coaching hat on. We talked about the high press and would they be able to maintain it? What have Canada executed well to have this, to be in this game right now? They could be in the lead had it not been for a missed PK. What have they done right?
Well, again, mentally to stay in the game, because after such a huge momentum, that could be a bad momentum going in, created by the other team, but they're staying in the moment mentally and physically and concentration. Right? The focus level is high, which is great. Can they maintain it to the halftime, re-energize, and come back with the same mentality second?
Sorry.
I think that.
No, this is good. Now I'm like high alert.
Second penalty.
Fonzie sitting wide open on the top of the box. It was just a little tunnel vision there, which always frustrates me because I'm sitting up here with an angle on TV and I can see everything. Ooh, Christina, I need to check on this one.
Okay. Okay.
Whistles all over his
guys.
leg.
We're gonna bring Christina back into the fold here to give us her take on this potential penalty. Yeah. What do you think?
Potential penalty. I did see one angle where it looked like he stepped on his foot. It's taking time, and understandably so, right? It's a game-deciding decision. So the VAR is going to have to find some evidence that shows it's a real clear step on the foot, that there's no play on the ball in that kind of scenario. But so that's why it's taking a while. The VARs are making sure they get all their camera angles. In the World Cup, you have more camera angles than you could ever wish for as a VAR. Trust me on that. But it does look like it will be a check complete, so there must not have been another video evidence or anything to support or to overturn the no call on the field.
Do you agree with that?
Killing me, Christina.
You know what? The one angle I did see from reverse, it did look like he stepped on his foot. But that's the only angle I've seen, and unfortunately, I don't have another replay either. So the best camera angle really to sell this decision would have been the reverse camera angle behind the goal line, not behind the players, but behind the goal line, that really would have showed how much contact there was truly on that foot, whether it was incidental or if it was a true stomp on the foot or step on the entirety of the foot.
Christina,
question for you, Christina.
Yes.
Could they not make the same for the offside rule, where that you can just see it clearly and there's no discussion, there's no stoppage? Because the new offside rule that they're showing there is magnificent. You look at it, you see it.
Yeah, and I think that's where, right now with how the law is written, the answer is no, right? Because even if they're stepping on his foot, right, there's a level of gray and there's a discussion of, was that more incidental contact, right? Because there's going to be contact in football no matter what. Or did that really create, did that rise to the level of a foul? So there's gray and discretionary area in this, VAR check they had. When we talk about offside, it's black or white. You're either on or you're off. And that's kind of why they spent millions of dollars, probably in the billions already, between technology, the goal line, the lines that drop, semi-automated offside technology, the number of things, is because of how black and white it is, that they want it to be 100% on offside. I think we're all kind of, the point of offside is that the attacking player doesn't gain an unfair advantage. That's the whole point of offside. And is a centimeter truly an unfair advantage? I think the defenders also would say it's not, right? A centimeter truly is, like toes keeping people in an offside position isn't. So, if there's going to be a change, it will happen after the Men's World Cup. Hopefully they don't put it on the Women's World Cup like they did last time, and surprise everyone with rule changes. But if there's going to be a change on, giving the Dutch do it, the Eredivisie do it, and I love it where there's a line, right? The lines are touching, we leave it alone. The decision on the field remains, right? If there's enough space between the lines that drop, then we'll go. I think we need to get a little bit more to football understanding and expectations, and I think that's where everyone is on the football world. We just need the laws changed by IFAB, not FIFA, IFAB. So I just need to clarify that part. And I do want to add on to the love that David was given to Pa. I told my husband, Ted Uncle, that I was on with Pa, and Ted says Pa is a class act as a player, as a coach when he was in Vancouver and FC Cincy, and Ted just says, hello, Pa. He wanted me to send that on for you.
Tell him I say hello. He's actually one of the best referees, because I enjoy referees that you can have a conversation with, because I think those are the best referees, and he's open to conversations, and I think that makes him different from these other referees that are just looking to be referees, and not have conversations. Because for me, like I said, the game is for the players. Could we have more conversations going on through the game? I think that will help with the reactions of the staff, because then we will be more calmer if somebody can give us an explanation. So
will do. You hit that on the head, though. It's all relationships, and trust me, no one's here to watch the referees. We all understand. They're here for the players.
Yeah.
Christina, before we let you go, I just have a question. What do you and Ted, do you have to make a point to be like, we are not talking about work?
Oh goodness, that's hilarious, because until I started doing this TV gig, we really didn't talk about refereeing, right? We did our games, right? It was a weekend, 2 ships passing in the middle of the nights, right? We have a little one that's 7. We'd focus on her and our other regular jobs. And I'm not going to react because I know I'm ahead of you guys. But funny enough, now that I'm in this TV world, all we do is talk about football and decisions. So our world has changed in the past 3 years.
God, I love it. Great stuff. Thanks so much, Christina. I think we're getting caught up here. We'll see you in the second half for sure.
She said that as Eustachio played the ball over the top. I thought the goal was coming there.
Oh God.
No, I don't know if that should have been a penalty, but I would have loved to see it. See, we're in this space now where so what I said going into the US game was I want them to show who they are on the biggest stage, right? Play fearless, play at their. That's what Canada has done in this first half. But now you're in a dangerous spot where, you can't make it a waste. This is an incredible opportunity for Canada. You don't want to leave this and say,
oh no. I'm just watching the chat and I don't.
Yeah.
There you are. We talked about it, and there it is. The momentum shift, right? That's what you get when you also have class players. One top over the ball, defenders not dropping.
Oh man.
Not being in the right position.
Okay, well, that's just, at that, right before halftime too. I know we always talk about it, but
look at that open space, Run, drop, the so this one reminds me as the goal Japan against Germany. When the when nobody have a pressure on the ball, backline you got to drop. Especially Victoria, you don't have speed. Drop, right? Drop. But it's a great take. Like again, momentum.
What a great strike,
like the momentum shifted.
Oh man,
it's an incredible strike because to take it one touch in that speed, and we talk about world-class players, right? These are the moments that they show their quality, right? We had one, Canada had one with the penalty. You know, we didn't take it, and then we were still in the game, but against a great team like Belgium, you have to make your
it's
chance.
funny because I was. Oh, go ahead, Gus.
No, I was going to say what kills me there, Pa, is you talked about it. Victoria is the one who has to drop. He doesn't have the speed. Kamal did drop, and I think keeps him on because he probably assumes Victoria's dropping, and then he didn't, and it made it even worse overall.
Especially when you play with a back three, I always say the middleman is the one that is in charge of, you know, the line behind and recognizing danger. And the reason why Victoria is playing there, one, he's the most experienced playing at that position. Secondly, also, he don't have the speed, so he needs maybe to give himself a yard off, you know, so that he can deal with those long balls. Because, I mean, direct football can cause you problem, and especially with Batshuayi, who has speed as well. And we talked about it, right? Going the other side with Fonzie, with Tejan. Speeds, if you have it, it can be very dangerous. Now they capitalize it. And if you see the game is actually evened out because it's been a very open game, right? It's not been a game where Canada has played high press, but they haven't been compact enough, you know, to eliminate good players to receive it in good spaces. So I think they will regroup second half and do better.
This is brutal.
We still got 45 minutes to go, man. What kind of supporter are you?
Gus,
Come on, man.
I know.
Believe in it.
Come on. We need.
Come on, man. Don't be like that, Gus. There it is.
It's just one. Obviously, they've had chances across the board plus the penalty, and I would say De Bruyne has made a couple mistakes. Right when they have broken Canada's pressure, that's not going to happen for 90 minutes. So it just feels like Canada let an opportunity go to take a lead and play from a lead and sort of then be able to adjust tactics from there. Of like, okay, if you're up 1-0, now you can be a little bit more compact, keep the ball, you know, along that back line and then bring pressure and funnel it where you want. Now chasing the game, this is where we've seen some teams at the World Cup struggle because you don't know how much to open yourself up. At the same time, Japan and Saudi Arabia have shown it.
Sorry, Tejan. Sorry for that, Dave.
No,
but
you don't apologize.
I think if you look at it exactly to your point is they have to keep the belief first of all when you come in the second half, right? You in the second half when they go in, Herdman probably gonna say, you know what, guys, we deserve to be on front, but also we've given some opportunities away. Let's regroup, stay focused, and we can still continue to create chances because Belgium gonna give away chances. Right. Belgium will give away chances and it's up to capitalize it because we've seen it now, right? But again, Belgium has the experience of being in World Cups, being around, so they have that. So that may play to their factor, but Canada can't give up. And you definitely can't give up.
How would this game have looked different if they had made that penalty? Like what would have changed like tactically from?
I think tactically Canada will then maybe continue to play high press or maybe drop. Well, I would have continued because that gave you the momentum. So you want to keep that momentum going. And then could you stay 1-0 until halftime and then going back again second half, playing until you get 60, 70 minutes and maybe push Fonzie up, bring a defensive player so that you can play on the counter.
You also do wonder, though, that balance for Fonzie. Could it be easier for him if you are up 1-0? You know, maybe the times he chooses to go, how far he chooses to go, shift. I still wonder if that's a sub for halftime. Like, okay, you've shown Belgium one look. They're going to adjust. Do you bring out a Kube on now so that Fonzie can be your free guy up top and pull off a Hoylett in this one just because you know Belgium will change? Oh, hit that, Eustachio.
Do it. No, I think it will be exactly to your point. with the players they have, they can go different directions. Do they bring a defensive player to push him higher up? It's something definitely that you have to look into.
Yay.
But again, I mean, that is just the quality that also Belgium possess.
Yeah.
Belgium possess a lot of quality, right? If you look at it again, this is Belgium's golden generation, right? Which for the past maybe 2-3 major tournaments, we've been hoping them, to push through, to break through. And I think you have one of the best midfielders in the world for me these past 5, 7, 8 years. So, and Hazard is not somebody also to overlook, even though he's not playing for Real Madrid as well. And the back line has played together. Adwell and Vertonghen have played together for a very, very long time, so they know each other in and out.
Here, we talked a little about, for Canada, this generation of players and what they can do for other players, the game, passing on their knowledge. So I didn't know this until last week. Roberto Martinez is also the technical director of the Belgian FA. He's in charge of coaching education. He's put in a program to get licenses for these players while they're on the national team. So Thomas Vermeulen's one of his assistants because he left the national team and retired with an A license. I believe Tillemans already has one. De Bruyne, like all these guys already have their coaching licenses that are done in national team camp so that they can help that next generation continue to keep their knowledge in the game.
No, I think it's massive and it's huge. But also don't forget, MLS is doing the same. MLS is also making sure that the players that are still playing can and do have the opportunity to take their B license, continue their growth. And I think it's the greatest thing you can do, because that knowledge that all these players have assembled, if they can give it back to the youth, that is a massive step. That that makes a difference. And MLS is also going down the route, but also Canada yet not. But I think it's an area that they need to improve on and get better, which they will, because I see, like I said, we see a lot of growth now. They have their own league, so that is something that will play into the
all right, guys. Well, it is halftime of this one between Belgium and Canada.
Halftime, Susannah. I'm exhausted.
I'm sorry.
It's only halftime.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I need to like refresh my stream here. I don't know how I got this far behind. It's wild. But we're going to take a look at the key moments of the first 45 minutes, and we are going to start now with this Miss PK from Alphonso Davies. And I mean, it wasn't very well taken. Can I just say that? Am I allowed to say that?
No, 100%. I think he telegraphed it.
I mean, it was just too easy. And then, of course, we've got the goal for Belgium, and Pa, just kind of, I mean, you spoke about it, but just that ball over the top, and then a really nice finish here.
No, a great finish is a ball over the top, and the back line is not dropping. And when you have a world-class striker, all he needs is the half a yard, and he buried it.
I will say on the Fonzie penalty, and it's a penalty, whatever, things happen. He doesn't take it like someone who takes penalties very often. And I think that I put that on Herdman of, yeah, he's your star, he's your big name, but you almost have to protect him from himself in that moment and say, like, as you said, Pa, going into it, like, who's your taker? And I would be shocked if Alphonso Davies is the first penalty kick taker on this team. Like, you have Eustachio, you have Atiba, and then also you have training where I'm sure there are guys I don't know that are experts at it. It just feels like this was one of those moments where it was like, okay, big moment. Let's let Fonzie take it. And he's always going to say he wants it, but you wish that.
Well, also he's not going to shy away from the moment. That's one thing about Fonzie, that he does not shy away from the right moments. But hindsight, you could say if he scored, we would have sitting here saying what a great penalty it was. But again, this is the beauty of football. I personally think that, to your point, maybe if they had who are the penalty takers, or maybe it's a decision of who's feeling good at that moment, because we're talking about a moment that none of these players have ever had. We're talking about 36 years of carrying your country on your shoulders. It's a burden.
Let me add this for you. Someone texted me from the stadium and said that it's 80-20 Canada to Belgium fans in the crowd.
Wow.
That's brilliant. That just shows.
So rolling deep.
I love it. We guys, a reminder, we are actively monitoring the YouTube chat as well as the Twitch chat. So feel free to get in there, leave your questions, comments, all of that. Gio Luna, who has been very active, we appreciate you, Gio. He's going on a beer run, guys, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and I would love to join you on that beer run, Gio.
Here's more reason. Here's more reason why, Susannah. The first half XG finished Canada 2.21, Belgium 0.66. That's as big a difference as you'll see in a World Cup game that's not Spain against
Crack it open. If I could shotgun it, I would. Man.
I'm also getting a lot of heat on the Axel Witsel penalty kick. We have it in the Twitch chat as well, saying that has to be a penalty, stepping on someone's foot.
Well, that was the other question I wanted to ask Christina, because Hazard played the ball back and they whistle offside.
What? You're talking about the Tajon Buchanan one?
Yeah.
I don't think it was played back. I think it was tackled back was the problem. I think a Canadian player put in a tackle.
Oh.
They're discussing it on the Fox broadcast right now. Actually, I can see it. I don't have the sound.
Oh, here it is. No, you're right. He does, Pat. Wait.
See? He does. He played it back. And that's why, for me, look at it. Look at it. Hazard played it back. So how is this an offside?
Christina, you can tell.
It's a crazy. I don't know. It's a big one.
I told you I don't like talking about ref calls.
I know. All right, guys, we're going to bring Christina, Uncle, back in. Christina, can you help us out here?
I can help you out by saying that you guys are correct. So this should not have been an offside decision. As you can see, the Belgian defender played the ball back. We're not calling it a save. We're not calling it deflection. It's not one of the exceptions, right? This is a deliberate play of the ball back to a player who wasn't in an offside position, right? Offside, two important things to remember, right? You have to be in an offside position first, and then you have to commit an offense. However, when the defender plays the ball back, that negates him being in an offside position. They called the whistle and they fouled in the offside way too quickly. This should not have been offside. It should have been a penalty for Canada.
Can I ask you, Christina, the way it played out, and I don't know if you've watched it in this way, but with the way it played out, could the VAR not call down and say the contact occurs in live play, even though the flag goes up and the whistle's blown, that it's a penalty, or the calling offside on the field negates any ability to view that play?
So it all depends upon when the referees make that decision, right? So we've seen this before where we have an offside, they blow the whistle, and it goes into the back of the net, right? And then the offside is actually incorrect. Because of when they blow the whistle, that's when play is effectively done. And this is kind of going back to our previous conversation, why we're asking for a delay on these matters, right? Why we're asking for the AR to delay their flag. Because if the AR delays their flag, which they should have, right? Well, that's right. We have an on-field error in the first place, right? The AR should have held their flag. The defender, the center referee literally should be telling the AR over the communications, defender, meaning the defender played the balls to give that AR that second piece of information they need to know. Because sometimes the assistant referee can't see who played the ball because they're running to keep up with the second last. Trust me, everyone's moving at a million miles. They need that information from the referee to know that a defender played the ball. So I can see why he popped his flag up. However, this is where we're asking them not to put their flag up, because even if light as day, if he, in his opinion, without realizing, thinks it's offside, let that attacker turn because there's an advantageous, a very high goal scoring opportunity. Let that occur in case the ball's back in the net. Then we can open up the review process. But because they whistled the offside before the foul, which was a bang bang, right? But they did call it before. Now we can't touch it, and that nobody wants to see that.
Can I ask you, because you gave us a distinction between FIFA and IFAB, which of them hates Canada, or is it just both?
Nobody hates Canada. Canada's so nice. Like
I don't know. We've got Canada. 2 PK calls floating out there.
Nobody hates Canada.
Oh, man.
Contrary to popular belief, referees really don't care who wins, right? We screw up enough, we're done for the tournament. So we're just like the players, right? We do not want to mess up. You've worked 8 years to get to this tournament between politics and performance and life changes. Like you don't care who wins. You just don't want to mess up.
A very good reminder for Christina, Uncle. Thank you so much. I'm sure we will see you in the second half, Christina. I know if you're a Canada fan right now, when you just listen to that, you're like, oh man, really? Because this is tough. This is Heck Tech. He said 3 pens and only one was called, and he's not wrong. What do you, if you're Canada right now, you're John Herdman in that locker room, are you going to make some changes? What are you telling the guys? Pa, what do you think that conversation looks like?
A positive message again, because if you see how the first half went, Canada was on the front foot. They came out brave, which he probably want them to do, and just a little, be tighter on the concentration and the focus, and keep going, because they still have some people that can come off the bench and be difference makers. And given that in this World Cup you have 5 subs, and if you utilize it at the right moment, at the right time, they can cause something. But stay positive. Stay positive, stay in the game. It's still 1-0. Everything can happen, right? So
would you be aggressive and so I guess this is a conversation a lot of people here are having out of the U.S. game. Was Greg Berhalter was probably reactive in his subs because he played the better first half rather than aggressive to say, you guys couldn't match us in the first half. We had you guessing. And now your option is to do something else to keep them guessing the second, or do you try and keep things the same because it's been successful?
In my humble opinion, obviously you review the first half and you see, okay, what has been working, and then you for sure know that you're going to get a reaction from the other team. So then how do you counter that reaction? And 9 out of 10 coaches, when it's going well, you don't want to make that other changes, right? Because it's working well, because you're afraid of if you make those changes, it will backfire. But then maybe 5-10 minutes into the game, into the second half, then you will see, okay, maybe we need to make those changes, because looking at the US game, I think, in my humble opinion, Acosta should have come on earlier, because you could sense that Weston was, having not played for a long time, his energy was getting low, and you needed to control the midfield, because Wales was controlling the midfield in second half. So if Tyler Adams could have had somebody else that could help him break up plays, and you had Yunus, who is maybe one of the youngest, who's the youngest player for US, right? And he's going to feel the moment, because that was, for all of them, maybe beside Yedlin, this was their ever first game in World Cup. So that moment, you're going to feel it. So I think substitution will play a part. And if he had done it earlier, I think
there's no one exactly like Weston in this game in terms of that timeline. Atiba obviously had been hurt most of this year. I think he's played 2 90s coming into this one. He's also 39 years old. I think that's going to be the big test for John Herdman, is when does he make that move, and for who?
I would looking at how the game goes, most likely, if I was in his position, I would put Sam in, take out Atiba, or maybe even put Jonathan Osorio or Mark Anthony Kay, because they have those fresh legs. They're the more dynamic players, and I think Osorio is somebody that he has a goal in him. He has a goal in him. He's somebody that when you look in Canada, he always seems to pop up at the right time with goals or with an assist or with a play. So I think looking at that, I think it's something that maybe he will look to do.
For sure.
I love the call for Oso because he has added all the elements to be an all-around center mid, from being a tricky dribbler as a kid to a goal-scoring 10 to now he presses, he gets into the tackles, he knows where to be, and I think he has grown his game to the point where he's ready for a moment like this. But as you said, Pot also has that creativity in the final third and that risk, right? Scored at the Azteca, has scored in big moments because he just senses the game really well in the attacking third while still being able to work hard defensively.
Yes, because if you're looking at the Belgium team after the first 15-20 minutes, where they were under pressure, you could see that they were starting to find the pockets behind Atiba. And with no disrespect to Atiba, but it's the game has become faster, and maybe he doesn't have those legs, and also he hasn't had those minutes behind him, because for me, he's one of the greatest players Canada ever have produced. But you could also see that is a way that the game is a little bit quick for him, especially with those players, world-class players around you. So I think making the substitution in midfield to control the midfield would be.
He is definitely out there right now, as the players have just come back out, so that I can confirm.
Well, I think he's going to give them another go for another 10, 15 minutes to see how it goes, and then probably make a couple of subs.
What do you think of 5 subs, 3 windows, by the way?
Brilliant. I mean, fantastic for a coach. And for me, I love it, because whether you're winning or you're losing, you always have something in your back pocket to fall into, whether it's a tactical decision to bring a extra defender or extra midfielder, but also if you need, if you're winning, all right, and you know that they're gonna come gun blazing, do you have the players that also can be direct, that can play a little bit on the counter-attacking side of the game?
All right, guys, it looks like.
And Belgium is bringing a midfielder.
All right. Second half is officially kicked off here. Looks like Belgium made some changes as well. Oh boy. If you're Belgium, on the Belgium side, I know we're talking a lot about Canada, but for them, they hung around, they played themselves into this game. What are they going to try to expose with Canada? Like what was that halftime talk like? Like, what have they seen from Canada? They're like, okay, this is how we're going to break through again, find another goal against them.
Well, I think given that Canada came out with a very high price and being brave, I think Belgium will look at itself, and count themselves lucky for not, for not going down quickly. But I think try to keep the game in their rhythm and hopefully hurt them on a counter again. I think they will just look to control the game and allowing Canada to come so that they can exploit them behind.
And you'd think now that you're leading, now it's okay for De Bruyne to drop a little deeper, because he can break pressure for you. He can hold possession, and yes, you're less goal dangerous, but now you can sort of control the game more, and you don't have to worry about getting that one goal because you already have the lead to play off of. So I think it even frees him up now to help them maintain what they want to do in central midfield.
Oh, 100%. This is the best time for him to be more creative. And I think they will find him more again, to the point that the game is going to open more. Canada has to be more vulnerable. And that's also in those spaces is where De Bruyne is going to hurt them.
We have a comment in the YouTube chat from Gray and Blue Hoya. He says, Buchanan is playing amazing, definitely putting pressure up top. What have you made of Tajon Buchanan's performance today, Pa?
I think, again, he started very well. He's hungry. He's been creative. He should have had a penalty. And I think also he's a player that Canada can rely on, because he's a player that can do something unexpected. And being a little bit unpredictable, you need it. And I think all he needs is a moment. He's shown it with New England, and he's shown it with Canada, and he has shown it being at Club Brugge again. So I think he has something to be a difference maker today as well.
I'm surprised Blue and Gray Hoya was that nice about a Syracuse player.
Oh,
that was really nice of him.
From Washington, D.C. Let's go.
I would assume so. Go Georgetown. There is multiple college soccer players on the field. I called an Alistair Johnson St. John's men's college soccer game like
no way.
4 years ago. Yeah. And now he plays.
Yeah?
No way.
Yeah. That's what's so cool about this Canada team. It's like, I was talking to Kamal Miller, alongside the field for a game that he wasn't warming up for because he was not a starter for Orlando City. And now he's matched up against Kevin De Bruyne in the World Cup in front of the entire world. Like, that's how cool this story is for these Canada players.
That's wild.
Nah, it's a massive story. Again, all these players, their background, where they come from, to your point, like they come from. Go!
That touch from Eustachio, oh my God, he's special.
He's a very good player. He's a very good player. And now you're also seeing the Canadian players play in big teams. Ostakio is playing in Porto, right? Would that happen maybe if MLS was not here, or would it happen if what John Herdman has done fantastic is also to recruit Canadian-born players that have dual citizenship? Because there's a lot of players to what you mentioned in the beginning of the show that they were having Italian passport, English passport, and nobody looked at them. But now they've been looked at. John had made it that any Canadian that has a passport that is abroad, he want to give you that opportunity, and which he could have had in a center back of the one that is playing in AC Milan. Tamori, right? He could have been a Canadian player now in this World Cup. Even the Arsenal player.
Flores, right? Yeah.
Flores.
And so I agree with that. Also credit to John Herdman that he has said, though, you have to be committed and you have to care. And Scott Arfield's not here. He's starting in Champions League because he said, I don't want to come to the early rounds. I'll show up when it's interesting.
Yes.
And Herdman said, no. Lucas Cavallini and Liam Frazier and Sam Piet, they went to a bubble in Florida to play against the Cayman Islands because they care. And he's rewarded that. And that's what builds a culture where you can be better than just the players who are already great for just their talents.
100%. The commitment. And again, that goes back to how the Canadians, even themselves, they view their national team. That even players were not ready to commit just to play for the nation, but only when they get interested and they will show up and they will not even make it. So I think him bringing that culture into the team is saying we are all one brotherhood. We are all in this together. Doesn't matter who you are, but you're part of the culture that we set. And I think as a coach, once you have and you set that tone, everybody else will follow shape. And to have leaders like Atiba committed, I think was massive for John.
So we saw the Onana sub, I think, on TV. I didn't see the other one. So Carrasco taken off for Munier, who's more of a true defender. So that's a defensive move from Roberto Martinez.
It's a defensive move, and as well as taking out Tillemans, I think, just to give Witzel, like we're saying with Osario, Onana, to be a defending block where those two will be solid, and now give the freedom to De Bruyne and Hazard.
Also, Carrasco sitting on a yellow card, which we have seen in this tournament. Coaches be pretty aggressive getting guys off to not risk that red card.
No, absolutely, because, with a man down, what a bad back pass. Anything can happen, right? Especially when you're on a yellow card, anything can happen. Again, that could be a momentum shift.
We have a comment from Travis Taggart in the YouTube chat, and he says he wants to see Mark-Anthony Kaye come in and support that midfield. I know, Pa, you said that was one that you wouldn't mind coming in, some fresh legs here. Do you think that Herdman will make that move eventually?
Well, I think given another maybe 9-10 minutes, I think 10 minutes, then I think he will look into those subs like Osario's, Mark-Anthony Kaye, maybe even Cavallini, just to be a little bit of a bruiser, like Wales did by making the substitution with Kiefer Moore, because that changes the whole dynamic of the game. Because now the US backline was playing against somebody that was big size, competing for all the balls rather than playing against Daniel James in the first half.
Lawrence Yang also says, Laren to come in, Kyle Laren come in and get on the end of those crosses. Could we see a Kyle Laren appearance in this one?
I mean, since he's been in this league, since he came into this league with Orlando, I've always loved him because he's a natural goal scorer, and he's proven it. And I think he's a man of big occasions.
He also he frees other guys up, right?
Yeah.
He'll occupy space. He'll battle with center backs. Maybe Jonathan David gets on the ball a little bit more. Maybe David could sneak a run that isn't tracked out of midfield. It opens other options up for this team. And I said it at the beginning. I think Kyle Laren's good enough to start for this team. So that's quality you can bring off the bench.
I mean, given now that Munier has a yellow card, just got
Go
yellow
after
card.
him.
That I would definitely maybe take out Hoyle, bring in Laren, and then push Laren as the target, and bring Jonathan David a little bit lower, and then have Fonzie, give Fonzie the free reign to play higher up, and just go at Monier, because Monier cannot allow himself for another tackle.
Eustachio is so good on this service. He like clips under the ball really well, so he can sort of drive it to the far post.
I was expecting him to take the penalty.
Me too.
Oh boy.
I did put down though in a pool with friends that Steven Vittoria would score the first goal in the World Cup for Canada. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you?
What's
What's up for grabs if you get that right?
Pride, nothing. I
Pride,
don't know.
just bragging rights.
I don't know.
Canadian whiskey.
No. Canadian dollars, which again is just pride, you know. So.
Guys, a reminder here, we've got the live group standings up on the left-hand portion of your screen. So that is how it looks right now with Belgium with the 1-0 lead over Canada. So just a reminder that those are live standings. So it can change.
Go on. Oh, yeah, they're still being brave. They're still being brave, pressing hard. And you can see that Belgium is struggling with their build-up. Come on, Fonzie. If Canada are able to get a goal within the next 10 minutes, they can go on.
Which is what Japan did. I think Japan was what?
Mm-hmm.
The 65th?
Yeah.
And then they made the subs?
Yep.
It's a good point. Listen, guys, we have seen teams go down a goal. The underdog teams. We've seen this several times in this tournament.
It's just a waste.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the Saudi game so much. And because just how the togetherness they had, you know, the high line they were playing, you know, playing against Argentina in the first game. And again, Japan today. I think Japan was brave.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know her, Bernard, at all?
I don't think there's...
Renard, Renard, right? The coach of Saudi Arabia?
No, I know that he coached in Africa. He coached a lot of national teams in Africa. And, I mean, he's been successful in Africa as well as a coach. I like him because he's a very brave coach. And you could see it in the way that his players were playing in this game. You know, they were very brave and, you know, and they fought for each other. And, again, if you look at the stats, nobody expected that, but I think have you heard the commentary
from Saudi
after they scored? Oh, what a beautiful thing that was! The man was so happy. That was incredible.
What was the call? I don't speak Arabic, so I don't know. What?
No, he was talking about the country so much, how after many World Cups where they haven't been very good, to be able in this moment to win and to score against one of the greatest players to ever play, and the way that they played is something that the whole country is proud of. It's everything that they always wanted. And mind you,
Kyle Laren looks like he's coming in.
Oh, nice.
That's a good sub,
that's
guys.
a good sub.
I'm here for this.
Are you ahead of us now?
And mind you that
Am I?
All of that?
Yeah, it looked like it because we have.
Maybe try refreshing your.
Does that mean I can?
screen.
No, I went
I don't
behind
know.
so that I could
What
be
am I?
on
How
yours.
did this happen? Okay, producer Anders is saying that you guys should refresh. So I think
I'm at 58:02 now.
I'm in. Oh, and Kone's coming in too.
Yes.
Yes. I like
What's your
this.
time, Susannah?
Let's go. We got
Susannah, what does your
Laren.
clock say?
My clock says 57:59.
Oh, now I'm ahead of you.
Well.
I'm behind you guys. I just saw him
Nature
comment.
of these watch-alongs, kids.
Well, if you go to the bottom, you can hit the fast forward E button, I think.
Nah, it's all good, man.
Paul wants to live in the past.
I want to live into the future, but I think seeing.
I
your
know
guys
it is
inside,
kind of fun. I agree. You're like, ooh, what's coming?
Yeah.
I don't. When I went to watch the USA game on Thursday, or whatever day it was, who knows what world we live in. The bar I was in, the volume was off and the volume was ahead of the game by 35 seconds.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm not going to sit here and wait for John Strong to yell goal, you know? And so we finally were able to fix it, but I was like, I can't stomach this.
Yeah, that's rough.
But I'm also normally the one who's behind, so maybe that's why.
So it looks like Fonzie is going to push up. I think now he's going to play right wing.
Is that Moonier? Referee? I don't know. Seems like cards. Who knows?
Kone. Oh, our guy Gio Luna. He says we need all the Montreal firepower to get back in the game, starting with Ismail Kone. Let's go. I love it.
I mean, he's a player that can make a difference because he's fearless when he plays. He got great technical ability, and I think also, just like Osario, he also got goals in him. And I think Canada gonna go for it. This last half an hour.
Well, you said it. They're
Canada,
playing with nothing to lose, right?
Absolutely. I mean, but yeah.
So how much does goal differential play into the strategy or the tactics or the subs? Like, well, how much does that come to mind if you're a coach?
Obviously, huge, because also you want to have a good goal difference.
Yeah.
And we saw it today with Spain. We saw it with England. Right, when you have the opportunity, right, get goals, and the more goals you get, the easier it becomes. Because if it's tied, and we know it's on goal differences, you may solidify the first place or the second place. So goal.
You also, with the tie for Croatia, Morocco, what it does for you is you still control your own destiny.
Good point.
But you don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball out of this game, because if you can get the right results in the next two, you can pass those two teams. So that's the other balance that you have to sort of figure out here as it goes along, is what you're willing to risk. I think at 1-0, you keep risking because you want to get results. At 2, that's where you start to talk about, okay, 2-0 versus 3-0.
Unlike Costa Rica.
Oh.
I mean, it's harder when you give up the first goal in the 9th minute.
Yeah, but again, looking at them, I think we also haven't talked about the Spain team, and I don't think a lot of people see this Spain team as something dangerous, but it's a team to be looking out for, because the quality of the players they have and the way that they play their game, it was a masterclass for me. It was one of the best games. It's the best game for me in terms of
a complete
how
performance.
they controlled the game.
Yeah.
Complete performance and deservedly winning.
Herdman's been active on the sideline. Good Greg Berhalter energy.
No, he has to. That energy is important, because for these players right now, you want them to keep that energy level high, because the way that they're playing, they need somebody to keep motivating them, right? So the coach has to be on the sideline, and he does a great job at that. Herdman is a great
Trossard just
motivator.
came in for Belgium. Who came off? I missed it.
I think it was Eden Hazard.
Was it Hazard? Okay.
Yeah.
Hazard.
That's a threat for Canada, because I think Hazard, you saw in this game, he's struggling a little.
Yeah.
He said this week, I'm not the same player I was.
Yeah.
And I never will be. He can still hurt you, less so in open field. And so I think Trossard brings a little more speed, which, as Canada pushes numbers forward, that's something to watch out for. They also now have Kone in central midfield, who has been really good, but probably doesn't have the same field sense as Atiba.
This guy can get sent off. Smack it. I mean, I think also with to your point with with Trossard, who's been Brighton's best player this season so far, and I think him coming in is a definite threat, and somebody can hurt him out of nothing as well.
5 international goals for Trossard, so he's definitely a guy that can score for you as well.
I would like to throw out there as well that I did choose Michy Batshuayi as my Golden Boot winner when we did our previews.
You did not.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Boss, I love your brain.
I only like to bring up the picks that seem like they could work.
But
Okay?
I like
I'm not
like
gonna
they're
bring up
always
any of
like unconventional. Like I like that you.
It's boring to say the same thing as everyone else.
I know, but I'm basic.
Who'd you pick?
I don't even know if I made a pick for a
Okay.
Golden Boot, but I probably would have picked like Messi or somebody, you know, like just like
Okay.
really lame.
And you, guess what? You will probably be right 95% of the time.
95%.
And I'll be right 1% of the time.
And a Valencia.
That
That's who
1%
I
can make a
picked,
difference.
obviously.
Of course you
Yes.
did. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Listen, I respect it.
I mean, I'd be a real genius if that was actually true. Alas.
I have a friend who messaged and said already, if Canada plays this way the whole group stage and doesn't get out, they'll still be happy. I think a lot of fans.
No,
will feel
100%.
Really? Do you think so?
I mean, as a player, you obviously want to qualify. You
course.
want to go to the next round. But again, putting things into context, 36 years ago was the last time they qualified for World Cup. They are going to host the World Cup in 2026. So this is a taste preview of the 2026 World Cup. But I mean, as a professional, you are always playing to win. You will be disappointed not making it out of the group. But again, if you look at Belgium, who has that experience playing in international tournaments, so does Croatia, so does even Morocco. Right? Those are the experience that time will give you, and them experience it now, and they will be ready for 2026.
Future is
for
very,
sure.
very
Oh,
bright.
let's go. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, I agree. Now I root for teams that don't win things, so I love a moral victory. I would agree though. Like I think in this moment, there's a reason Pa said they have no pressure and Belgium does. Like the win was getting here on merit and showing that you're not Qatar in 4 years where you got in as your host. Yeah, it's true.
Oh, come on, man. Leave Qatar a little bit alone. I played there. I have a little soft
I think
spot for
that's
them.
fine. And Pa, I think they're better than they looked against Ecuador, and I think they'll play better in the next 2 games. But they were last in 2018 World Cup qualifying in the final round of Asian qualifying.
Yeah.
They are in the World Cup because they are the host of the World Cup, which happens.
Sure.
It happens for the U.S.
No, 100%. No, 100%. And I think again, the pressure that come to being the host and for these players was too big.
Oh, Richie.
You got a shot.
Oh no.
You see the Richie Larea slide tackle?
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. And I love me some Richie Larea.
I think the biggest surprise of the game so far is that Richie Larea does not have a yellow card. He loves to get involved. He is the most polite Esther in the world.
Nah, he's also a class act. He's a class act as a player.
He's an incredible person, but when he's on the field, he sees red and he gets after people, and it's amazing.
Counter. Oh no. What is
now Pa seeing it?
No. God, I cannot keep up.
Yeah, because I was like, which tackle was it? Because they showed Kamal Miller's
Yeah, that was a
tackle,
great tackle.
and now I'm seeing it. That was a great tackle, but this one is even better. I mean, now again we're seeing the game open up, and we're gonna see the game more and more open up because Canada will look for goal, and I think these are the moments that they have to be a little bit mindful of, because if Belgium get a second one, the game is done.
And this is also one of the things we've seen for teams when they've come out and pushed at this World Cup and not gotten the result. You start to fall off, like what we saw for Australia, right? Once it went bad, the exhaustion sets in over the adrenaline and the focus.
Yeah.
And it really can all fall apart at the same time. Not saying it's going to happen.
Yes.
Well, look at, but are you seeing Matt Doyle's tweet up on the screen right now?
Oh,
He says Fonzie's legs are dead. Might be time to make another sub here. Would you agree? Does Alphonso Davies look gassed to you guys?
Knowing Fonzie, he is somebody
Yeah.
that can hit another level. He's somebody that, and he can be a difference maker. So would I take him out? No, but given that he came from an injury, I would. The signs of that, I would rather save him for the second game than to keep pushing.
What have you seen
game.
from him today? How would you rate Alfonso's performance?
I mean, I think being his first game, obviously a lot of people will focus on the penalty, but I think for me is how he has reacted. And the reaction after missing the penalty is that he still put in a performance, which is something that you would like.
Yeah.
I know it will bug him, it will hurt him that he missed the penalty, but he has done okay. He's done okay, given that he's been out with injury. But I think that the whole Canadian so far can be satisfied with the performance. They can be satisfied with the performance. It's
I think the other thing we've seen in
But I
the
would
second
definitely-
half, you could say dead legs. I think the other thing is positionally, there's less space for him to cover because he's not out on the wing. He's inside underneath, and he's trying to find the ball right now. He's been on the right. He's come to the middle. He's come ahead of Laren, underneath Laren. He's trying to find the game, but you're not going to see the Alphonso Davies effect all the time when he's positioned higher up the field because there's not as much space for him to run into.
Exactly. And I think that may be one of the reasons why John wanted to play him as a left wing back, allow him, to see the space. And I also do believe when Fonzie has the space in front of him, he's more deadly.
Yeah. Although he's not turning on the Jets in spots where it feels like he could like that. Oh, well, you're behind me, Pa, so you'll see it soon.
No, I think, again, Canada still just got to maintain it. They don't need to rush it, even though it's 20 minutes left of the game. All they need is just one opportunity, right? So
if it was a sub, I think it would be Osorio because like we talked about, he'll go in centrally. You could either push Kone a little higher or you just play him in as, a 10. But he's a guy who will help you close ranks a little centrally while also still having that goal potential. So I would assume he's the next guy up. He also hadn't played because he didn't finish out with TFC, but he played 90 minutes last week against Bahrain and against Japan as well. I think he got a couple minutes. So your hope would be he's good for at least 15 if you need him here.
A reminder to everyone tuning in, please stick around after the final whistle because we will have some post-game reaction. We're going to get Matt Doyle on the show to get his takeaways, and Christina Uncle's going to be back. Apparently, she has some theories as to why that penalty was not awarded to Canada in the first half. So you'll definitely want to stick around for that. So that's going to be right after the finish of this one between Belgium and Canada. We've got some comments in the Twitch that I want to get to. Raid PT, whatever. That's what we're going to PTT. Weird game, this one. Not quite sure if I'm impressed by Canada or disappointed by Belgium. I'm going to argue that you could be both. Right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well,
right? Fair assessment.
100%. But if I put my coaching hat again, as Susannah likes to say, I think I'm more disappointed in Belgium.
Why is that?
Because of they've been here before. And with the quality players that they possess, I expected more. What I'm seeing, Canada has dominated the game. Canada has a team that has been on the front foot.
Does Canada deserve to be at least tied, or to have the lead in this game, based on what you've seen?
I mean, based on missing the penalty, based on missing another penalty, which they could, I think, they deserve. They should have been in front, but again, that's why you always have quality. And
Who's
They
coming?
needed one chance, one goal.
Hi, your boy Sam Adekugbe on for Richie Larea.
Oh, there you go. That is another great moment, right? That's for me personally is another great moment, having spent a lot of time with Sam back in Vancouver, and seeing his growth as a player and as a human has been fantastic. And this is a moment that he's going to cherish
What's it like
forever.
for you to watch Alphonso Davies, someone who I know has called you big brother and things like that, and a guy like Sam now, to see them grow and then be on this stage?
I mean, it's given the history that we have with one another, given the mountless time that we spent together talking about moments like this and what it takes, to reach this level. I mean, you feel proud, right? You feel very proud, that you've been able to play your part and help these players, and to see where they are. For me, it's beyond my wildest dream. That's one of the reasons why I love coaching, to be able to help and push players beyond what they think they're capable of. And at this moment, it's just, you're happy, like, you're tremendously happy and proud.
Susannah, I think David Zebra in the Twitch chat wants you to know that he's making hockey jokes because it's Canada. So the first joke was about a power play, and now he says Canada needs Belgium to go to the penalty box and even the score.
Little sin bin action. Let's go. I wouldn't mind. We can have a little crossover. Some hockey soccer crossover.
I don't think Belgium's a big hockey country.
No, probably not.
Give you an advantage. Not like Sweden or Norway.
Wouldn't it be? What if there was like a penalty box for in soccer? Like instead of like yellow cards, you get sent off for like
give them ideas.
5 minutes.
Don't
you have to sit there. You have to just sit there.
Ideas.
Come on, Tejan.
Think about what you've done.
Give them ideas, Susannah.
So,
well, I like that. I mean, MLS Next Pro did it. MLS Next Pro did something really, really that you could think and do, maybe for FIFA, was that if a player went down longer than 15 seconds and you needed a treatment, you had to stay outside for 3 minutes.
Did you like that rule? Did you think that worked? Okay.
No, I was not fan of it, but it's something that I'm never fan of those things. But again, you can take lessons from those things, and you can take the lesson in terms of how your team defends when they are man down, right? So you can implement those things in it. And I think, you as a coach, you don't want that, but once you see it happening and you see how your team works through it, you're happy with it. But I think for World Cup, with the time wasting and everything, what if that was implemented? What kind of effect will that have?
The one thing I would say is, I think for large parts, as at least a neutral fan watching the game, I think red cards ruin games. Like, I don't want to know how well, let's say in this game, right, Canada can play against the 10 men for Belgium. And there's still narrative and excitement and intrigue and all of that, and I still respect performances. I think if you could find something in between a yellow and red card, I wouldn't hate the idea of trying to punish teams for making certain plays without having it be the end all be all of the result.
I don't think Christina will agree with you.
You can ask her when we bring her back. Pa, I want you, can I, again, I just want, like, if you had to give a grade for like Canada's first half versus their second half, like what grade would you give them? Like, has it been a less successful second half?
B minus. B minus.
Okay.
B minus for first half, and they're still trying. So until this game is finished, it's difficult. But I think in first half, the way that they came out, I was very happy that they came out. But now you're seeing the experience of Belgium kicking. Now you're understanding why Belgium has been in these stages and Canada not. Right? Belgium is now comfortable playing on the lead. They're comfortable allowing Canada on the ball in spaces that they know is not going to hurt them. And I think you see a little bit of a Canadian players cramping, and we've seen Belgium making changes as well, because they know that now it's time to buckle down. 10
I'm
minutes
surprised
to
the
go.
Kettler is not the sub there. Who, yeah, he's not a true center forward, but he's great in possession. He can come off the line. It just feels like right now for Belgium, that would give you more a different weapon that you could use as Canada pushes forward. But Roberto Martinez knows more than I do, so I think it'll work.
Well,
out.
but to back to the point that we were talking about, if Canada was in the lead, now you have those speedsters that you can bring on and they can go, and that's what he's looking to do because he knows now that Canada may need and goal to get a draw so now he's bringing somebody that is different to De La Ketter because he needs somebody that has speed to run behind. So interesting question for you, David. What is your thoughts of seeing that this World Cup, let alone given by Qatar, playing in November, mid-season? Are we seeing the best football of the players rather than them?
No one's
Who scored?
Oh, David.
I know.
David. I just did I did a total. Can I say Schitt's Creek on here? I just did. Sorry. It's a show. David.
Sorry.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Kyle.
I think the players being in quote unquote mid-season form, I think it's been that advantage of quality has been erased by the lack of cohesion from teams because they didn't have the 6 weeks to prep or 4 weeks or whatever, as well as the amount of games everyone's been playing this year because of the move of the tournament and COVID and all those types of things. So I thought it was going to be the best quality we've ever seen. And I think, to me, the biggest thing has been the lack of cohesion for a lot of teams. And I think they'll grow into the tournament, but in a different way than we've seen in the past.
Osorio from Millar. Alert.
I saw that.
Oh, Osorio and Millar.
I saw why you screamed.
Right? Isn't that fair, Pa? That was a good chance.
I saw why you screamed. No, that was good because for somebody like him to get this opportunity, you're looking at a sitter. Right? With Kyle Larin in there, you're looking at a sitter. So I understand why I understand.
I've been giving clearance. Yeah, so Tejan was one of the ones who came off.
Yep.
And Eustachio was the other one.
And Alfonso
which has
Davies
to be
was
cramping.
just handed a yellow.
And Eustachio has to be cramping because John Herdman does not take him off the field if he can afford not to. He is a 90-minute player for this team.
I mean, Kyle Larin has come in and done well. I mean, he's been a handful for them.
Let's go, boys. Keep it up.
I know. I feel like they've got a goal in them. Close. I really do. I think Kyle Larin's going to score.
I would love it.
I really do. And then you
Canada
get a point,
got a goal in them.
You get a point off of this match against Belgium. You set yourself up so well.
They got a goal in them.
They do.
They definitely got a goal in them.
They've had goals in them.
This is a sitter. With Kyle Larin inside there, that's a goal. That's a great delivery.
The cross brings all the pace, so he just has to redirect it.
To
close out.
Should he have done
also,
more than that?
I mean, also, it's not a little man in the goal.
Yeah, he's the best goalkeeper in the world.
It's not a little. And you have the best goalkeeper in the goal. 6'6".
Is that how tall he is? Really?
I think he will take.
Oh golly.
He's 6'6".
It's a tall drink of water.
6'6". Yes, and it's been amazing also to see his growth because while I was playing in Holland, he was playing for Genk, and at times because I was living in Belgium, it was easy for me to go watch the Genk games. I was able to see him, De Bruyne.
Wait, so you were playing in Holland but living in Belgium?
Aha! I love how you said that.
Pa, just so you know, this show is sponsored by the Dutch government. So.
I'm all good. I paid my dues.
That's so great.
Was there any sign, by the way, that this would happen for Belgium? Because a lot of people forget. I want to throw this out there. The whole convo coming into this World Cup is, will this golden generation win or will it be a failure? this is a country that didn't qualify for the 06 and 2010 World Cup and had only been in one semifinal ever. This is not a soccer powerhouse. And now this team has gone to a semifinal of a World Cup, third place. They've gotten out of the group 2 straight Euros. Like, did you think this would happen, or this would be the country maybe of the Norways and Finlands and Denmarks that have Swedens that have grown that would elevate?
Yes, because Belgium also have a lot of talent. Again, to what we're talking about Canada, with a lot of players coming from the dual citizenship. So, given this being the golden generation, I personally myself, I expected more of them. And I think 2018, I was almost sure that would have been their year, given how they played in the tournament. And to lose to France, I mean, the eventual World Cup winners. But this is a golden, they have to win, because if they don't win, they will be looked as a failure. Because at club level, they are all winners, but the international level, not. You look at the De Bruyne, he's won titles with Man City, Eden Hazard, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Courtois, Vertonghen with Ajax, Alderweireld with Ajax, same with Witsel, Lukaku. So there's these players have won, but on a club level, international level is what is missing.
So if they had won Nations League, let's say, would that count, or is it have?
That will count because it will spur them. Because at times, as a player, to get over the hump, you need to win something. And I think them winning the Nation League would have helped from the expectation wise, that they finally won something, and that maybe would help going into these tournaments being a little more freer.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of up until 2 days ago what I think a lot of people thought Copa America did for Messi in Argentina, which may no longer be the case.
Or the unbeaten run. I mean, I think it shook the football world, but I think also, for me, watching the game, they did not take Saudi Arabia serious enough. And that's the worst thing you can do going into a game, underestimate the opposition.
Yeah.
And that was clear to see. And also on the ball, I did not think Argentina played as good on the ball.
Yeah, they never played through Saudi Arabia.
They never, because Saudi was so great in keeping those distances tight and narrow, and also playing a high line where their goalkeeper was almost the sweeper. And for Messi to shine, Messi needs those spaces. He needs to roam and find those spaces. Kai.
You saw the Laren chants?
No, I did. Yeah, I saw it right now because you.
Well, I didn't scream because I got yelled at last time, so I didn't scream. You guys told me not to.
Yeah, I did. I scolded you.
It feels like I'm only allowed to scream.
She scolded.
I'm trying to keep it in.
I'm sorry. I don't. You do you, Dave.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
Quite honestly, I think I need to be subbed out. I'm exhausted from this emotional experience this game has been.
Well, then, can you imagine the players right now? Then,
God,
can you imagine the emotional side of the players, right? From waking up to be able
okay.
to
I have a
play
question, Pa? Because it is late.
Yes.
It is late
I think it was
in
a
Qatar.
10 p.m. local kickoff.
Like, what is that like for a player? Like, how does that change your whole routine of getting ready for a match?
Obviously, it's different. I mean, playing in Qatar, I know that what you need to do but being professional and being used to certain routines, it does not help you, right? But again, also playing in different circumstances, right? Normally, you played in the Summer World Cup. Now you're playing in the winter, in a country that has a lot of humidity, that is warm. So all of these factors plays in, and you can see the effect of it in some of the games. And I think Saudi benefited from it playing against Argentina. It's like when you go to Colorado or you go to RSL, right? Colorado, you have the high altitude. They're used to it, so you know what is going to happen. And the same is for these teams. It's also a little bit for the Asian teams as well.
Just a reminder to everyone watching this stream, which, by the way, we're getting some confusion in the YouTube chat right now to this person. This is a watch along. You can turn on the game on Fox and watch the broadcast there. This is us
Or
watching
TSN,
the game.
I believe.
Yes, or TSN in Canada. So that's where you can watch the actual game. This is a watch.
We'd actually recommend doing that.
I
'cause then
really
you'd see the
recommend
game.
doing it. Yes, because then this is us reacting to the game. I just want to clarify. Thank you, Adam Wise, for pointing this out to this person. I don't even want him to say his name. Anyway, sorry. God, people, what is wrong with you?
You guys,
We have
I'm
a post
struggling.
game. We have a post
This is
game
intense.
show. We have a post game show after this where we are going to get just our initial reaction to this match. We'll have Matt Doyle on, get his takeaways. We're going to have Christina Uncle back in, and she's going to explain to us her theory as to why that penalty in the first half was not awarded to Canada. So, yeah, definitely stick around for that.
So I'm guessing that coaching was never into the picture for you.
No, I'm too nervous and emotional. Yeah, I can't see the whole board as well. Like when I can see the game, I'm like, I see this little thing. I never understand for coaches how they come out of a game or during a game, seeing, everyone, or like, what does your left mid need to do as well as your center forward, as well as your right back, which is what I've always been impressed with people that can coach. Plus, as you can see, I probably give off too many nerves.
Well, I mean, you excited, and that just shows how much, again, that you want Canada to do well, as a from a nation, but as well as players that is in our league, that showcase in our league, and also looking at MLS this year have produced how many from MLS are playing in the World Cup. That's a nugget for you. I know the answer. I want to see if you know the answer, David.
Pa, I think we're having a little bit of audio issues with your feed. We're going to work on that. So just hang tight. Hey, Goss, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did Pa just get really low for you, volume-wise?
Yeah, he got very low as
okay.
well.
Just want to make sure.
I thought maybe I broke my headphones.
I did too. I was like, wait, it's definitely my fault.
I'm dancing all over here.
Yep. Adam Wise on YouTube chat says Pa's audio seems to be out. We are working on it, Adam. Thank you. We appreciate you.
So it's got to be quicker.
Hey, Pa's back. Let's go.
In full effect.
I'm
back in full effect.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, guys, only 5 minutes of stoppage time. Which feels
Christina, who hates Canada? Is it IFAB or FIFA? Tell us. They had bad Timbits one time.
Oh, Timbits. Love Timbits. Love Timmy Hortons. Big fan.
Oh, yeah?
Big fan. That's like my first stop anytime I'm north of the border.
Now I know you're a real Canadian.
Had nothing but love for Canada.
Susannah, Pa spent most of COVID living out on Vancouver Island, which is different than Vancouver the city, explaining to me how it's the most beautiful place, and then kept saying, come visit when I couldn't. And then the moment I could, he moved to Texas.
That's
which I did visit. I did visit Texas.
You did visit Texas. I got to see you in Texas, but I would have loved to see you in.
Trust me, I would have too.
What
if they had let us into?
I mean,
I'm sure. Goss
you guys should have brought the Canadian flag and say, "How are we?" As long as you say, "How are we?" You did. No, let's get into the
Pa
country.
speaks 7 languages, but Canadian is not one of them.
Yes.
Pa, do you really speak 7 languages? Oh my! Wow.
Yes, I do.
Wow. You
No,
are.
it's tough.
You are.
Wait, let me guess.
Impressive.
Wolof, Norwegian,
Yes.
Dutch,
Yes.
Arabic,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Spanish.
Yes.
English.
What about
good
English?
call.
Yeah.
We're
Duh.
sitting
Oh my
on
God.
the
Hello.
Come on, Dave. What are we doing? Which language are we talking
I
about?
lost count.
English. So that was 6. And do you speak Spanish?
I dabble in Spanish, but
Okay.
Was there any
yes.
that we missed besides those?
No, Swedish, but it's similar to Norwegian,
Oh,
so I don't
God.
count
I
that
don't
one.
count the other
No, you
language
should-
that I speak.
It's 8. So it's actually 8.
Oof.
So I don't count.
So it's really hard to find a professional soccer player that you can't talk to.
That is the advantage of
That makes you a
knowing
good
languages,
coach.
which is also
Yeah.
great.
What an asset. What an asset.
I'm trying to be. No, that is absolutely an asset. And I think, given where the game is going, especially here in North America, I think being able to speak multiple language does help you as a coach because you can relate more to the players, you know, and the information becomes more clear. Come on, Canada. All you need is one half a chance or a set place.
It's the dying
again,
minute of the game, seconds of the game. Yeah.
but they can be
Yeah.
proud. They can be very proud of this. They can be very proud. For me, it's a word of a performance that you look at and you say, okay, did we have chances to score? Yes. So what can we take from here is, okay, take our opportunities. Next time we have a penalty, let's bury it. Let's be on the front foot. And I think, I'm very proud of what I'm seeing from all the players. It doesn't look like it's their first time ever.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the things you wanted, that's the final whistle. One of the things you wanted, one, was to play and prove who you are, which I think they did. And two, win fans, both in Canada and around the world. And there's zero doubt in my mind that they did that. Everything I'm seeing on social media is other soccer people around the world watching this team for the first time, talking about how they dominated, how they deserve to be winning, all that stuff. So yeah, brutal.
Yep.
But great, but brutal.
No, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but I mean, they can build from it. Again, with 6 points, they can go through. So there's still more to play for. There's still more to play for because Belgium has to play Croatia and has to play Morocco. So if Canada on their next game wins, you put yourself in a good position. So it's not over yet.
Well, guys, that is a wrap on this one between Belgium and Canada. Belgium get the 1-0 win in Canada's first World Cup appearance in 36 years. Let's take a look at the Group F standings right off the bat here. And Belgium with that win leading the way with 3 points. Croatia and Morocco with 1 after their scoreless draw earlier today. Canada, no points yet. But guys, it's not the end of the world for Canada. No. As we said, this is their first World Cup appearance in 36 years. I think they made a really, really good impression. I love the way they came out and started this game. Some missed opportunities, obviously, with the missed PK from Alphonso Davies. Perhaps a penalty that should have been given. We're going to get more on that from Christina Unkel. But
2 penalties.
2 penalties. Two penalties.
Just want to make sure we keep the numbers.
Oh gosh. But Pa, you kind of said it as the game was winding down. A lot to be proud of from this performance from Canada.
Oh yeah, I think they played a great game. I think they were on the front foot the whole game. They had their opportunities. Unfortunately, didn't capitalize from it. But I think that it sends a message to the players, to the fans around the world, to the whole country that this is a team that can still get out of this group because they still have 2 games to play for. So for me, the message from Herdman, and I know it will be, is we still have opportunity to get out of this group. This is your first ever World Cup in 36 years and your first for some of you players. We serve at the moment, but we still got 6 points to play for.
And I think those standings, that's the victory. That's the statistical victory today is that Canada is in it. Canada controls their own destiny at this moment. Coming off this performance, if they can play like this against Croatia and Morocco and get the results, it doesn't matter what Belgium does. They will go through. And that is not something every team can say right now at the World Cup. And there's no reason they shouldn't believe they can, right? This is the best team in the group. Belgium's the giant. Belgium is one of 2 teams that has been first or second in the world over the last 4 years. They have been no lower than second coming into this World Cup. So to me, that's a huge moment to come out of this. And listen, come on, Miller cramping at the end, Eustachio we'll have to see physically how they bounce back. And we talked about this strange World Cup, only 4 days between games instead of 5 like normal. But Canada walks out of this one, and I think the table is set for them the way that they want it to be coming out of this game, although they thought they would need to have gotten points probably to be in that position.
Yeah. And honestly, they could have. As we mentioned, they had a missed PK early in the game, but then there were, as Gus reminded me, 2 potential penalties that were not awarded. One in particular, we all believe should have been given, but Christina Uncle is here to explain her theory as to why it was not. Christina, thank you so much once again for being here. What can you tell Canada supporters about that non-peak penalty call?
Well, I mean, which one are we digging into first, right?
Exactly. Are we talking about the Tajon Buchanan one? Is that the one that we're like?
So we have the Buchanan one, which is the offside one, right? And then we have, I think it's Larea, also the potential step on his foot one. So let's go to this offside one first, because this is the one we all can agree is not offside due to the fact of the deliberate play. Here we have a deliberate play by the defender. So therefore, whether Buchanan's in offside position is irrelevant. All right, so that is 100% incorrect. Now, what I have been spending the entire second half is trying to get video to see where the contact. And right here, prior to the contact on the foot, the defender number 5 for Belgium actually clears the ball first, right? So, in fact, this is actually not a foul. And this is why VAR did not intervene in this, okay? And this is why it's so important to get the videotape. That's why I was like, I'm going to clarify until I see some videotape. When we take that clip and you slow it down, you see that number 5 Belgium actually clears the ball. It changes complete trajectory. And then there's contact on the top of the foot of Buchanan, not the ankle. Some people are claiming the ankle. I'm like, video doesn't lie. I've taken snapshots and sent it to them. But it's at the top of the boot, the top of the foot, right? And so everyone's arguing, hey, but sometimes we see that, right? If there's a follow through after a play, it still gets penalized. Penalty area context matters. And here's why, right? When we have a defender or a goalkeeper and an attacker's going by them and they go and there's some contact, we're always looking at, did that defender or the goalkeeper make contact on that ball first, and meaningful contact, and change the ball before there was this incidental contact after the fact. Don't get me wrong. I feel bad for Buchanan's toe. I really do. That doesn't feel good. But this is the deciding factor as to why it's not even a foul in the first place, and which is why the VAR team did not get it wrong. They didn't recommend down for an overturn for a penalty kick because there was no foul in the first place. Now, offside alone, standing by itself, since VAR has determined there is no foul, there's no point in recommending for overturning the offside because that's not one of the 4 reviewable incidents. So unless they had a clear and obvious error for a foul for a penalty, then they wouldn't touch the offside alone. Woo, that was a lot. Sorry, I spent 45 minutes breaking that down.
Wow.
There's been a lot of forensic going on.
So because it's on the clearance of because it's on the motion of the clearance, the defender has the right to that movement, and therefore you're saying it's not a foul at all.
Yes. So, and there's good argument, right? Where people are like, hey, if this happened in the center of the field, you guys would have called a foul. And everyone's like, what should be fair in the center should be fair in the penalty area, right? And for the most part, yes, that answer is typically what kind of we prefer. However, like I said, it matters in the penalty area as opposed to the middle of the field, because the middle field, you don't have a penalty, right? You don't have a game-changing decision necessarily. That's why when we are given these clips and these analysis on interpretation and application in the penalty area, when there's a defender making a challenge on the ball, we're always first and foremost looking at, did that defender make meaningful contact on the ball before they made contact on the attacker? And then we look at the contact on the attacker. You know, did it rise to the level of, a serious foul play, right? Is it more than incidental here? Because you want to give that defender that opportunity to clear the ball because they're literally sitting in their penalty area, right? That's where that deference changes just a bit when we do into the penalty area. Always looking to see if the defender makes that contact, or the goalkeeper, right? When they usually reach out and one hand gets all ball and the other hand gets the entire player at the same time. We're always looking for that hand that gets the ball, right? And not going through the player to get to the ball, but actually getting the ball first and then maybe a little bit of the player. So that's how we were told to break it down, look at it. And that's why the VAR team did not touch this and say it was check complete.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
And you can
Wow.
see even like any of these rules analysts, I mean, we are going back. There's a couple of my colleagues doing this around the world, sitting here saying, how did we miss it? And then I said, first and foremost, let's go to the foul in and of itself. We have to always go to the foul in and of itself. And then that's when we all started breaking down the play. Instead of saying, how did the VAR team miss it? Were they too focused on the offside that they missed the deliberate play? There's 5 people in there in the VAR booth right now. It's a CONMEBOL team, but with 2 UEFA VARs with Massimiliano Irati, who is like the number 1 VAR in the world into the last World Cup. So I'm sitting here stressing about how they missed all of this stuff with such credentials up there, right? And then I said, wait, we're going way too complicated. I have a couple of different theories. Maybe the on-field team started way too quickly and then VAR couldn't intercede, right? Because that moment of window got closed. And then I'm like, just keep it simple. Take a look at the foul, no foul, we're good. VAR wouldn't have gotten involved. That shows how much time it took us and many others here reviewing that. Can you imagine doing that in the VAR booth?
No.
When you have a split of seconds. I mean, mind you, they also have like 40 camera angles. You've seen the VAR booth, the video operating room. Actually, it's glorious in a really dorky way. It's super glorious having all these different camera angles and like 5 video operators. You're saying, give me this, give me this, give me this, and they're just popping things into your quad. So I do argue that they have a lot of better setup than I do personally, but I'll talk to MLS Soccer about like 50 more screens in here.
Man, that is a tremendous amount of information, but super helpful and a great breakdown as to why that was not called. Goss, go ahead.
Yeah.
The other one now?
Yeah. So
Richie Larea.
Yeah, Richie Larea. So, at first, like I said, I had seen one video replay or one replay of it, and it was from kind of the back. I've seen it from behind the camera angle, and I've seen it from an above kind of view. This kind of level of contact, there was a little bit more shoulder to shoulder, a little bit of the boot, but does it rise to the level, right? When we want to give a penalty, we want to give a penalty, right? Like undeniable. And here, yes, there was a little bit of contact on the boot. Yes, there was a bit of shoulder to shoulder on it, but it doesn't rise to that level of a penalty for it. So kind of when we would put it, when we do clip analysis reviews, etc., if we were to put this on a meter, it would be a lot closer to no foul than it would be to a penalty game-changing decision. So that's why, we've all gone back and forth. And as soon as we all got these clips, we're like, nah, that's never a foul. Like, so in our world, that's not a foul. I know that's not what Team Canada wants to hear. I swear we all love Team Canada, contrary to David's thought. Like if I blink left, it's IFAB that hates him. If I blink right, it's FIFA that hates him. Nobody can potentially hate Canada, even if you try. That's how much everyone loves Canada.
You don't have to worry about it. I don't like soccer anymore. I'm done. I'm out. So I don't even care.
You know what? If I got $1 for every time someone's told me the game's gone, I would be rich. I would be rich right now.
I just don't have any more left. My emotional meter is empty.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
Oh, just Christina, thank you so much for your help today. As always, you are going to be back on our next Club and Country watch along on Friday, correct? With the U.S. taking on England.
Yes, hopefully I'm out of my turkey coma by that time. So.
Exactly. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you. And again, thank you so much. Incredible stuff as always.
Happy Thanksgiving, all.
Thank you, Christina.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Okay, guys, can we, for a second, let's take the penalties or penalty non-calls out of it. Thanks, Christina. Her mic's still live. Guys, this is what happens. We love you. We love you, Christina. We don't want to say goodbye ever.
Even when she's not on air,
she's not on air, she's still with us. Do we think that this was, if you, again, take those, potential plays out of it, could Canada have won this game? Did they create enough chances that they could have walked away with 3 points against arguably the best team in this group?
Yeah, they should have won this game.
Yes.
Right. The stats tell you, the way it was played out tells you, both in terms of tactics, in terms of chances, and in terms of momentum and confidence. But I think this is a lesson, especially even as Americans, we learn every 4 years, which is there's that little bit of class. And sometimes you have lucky calls and sometimes you don't. But it's not a coincidence that the big teams always get the lucky calls. It's because they don't make mistakes and they have the quality to take advantage. And Canada didn't take advantage of the chances they got. and Batshuayi didn't need to be asked again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even coming in for Lukaku, that's a top level striker, and he didn't need a second look at it, and they take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah. Pa, what are your thoughts?
100%. No, 100. I mean, like I said, Canada had nothing to lose. They went out to the game to play lame. But again, in football, the momentum is what you need to take. And we saw it today. Canada, the penalty, the momentum, the half unity, goal, games, match, done.
All right. Pa, we're having audio issues with you. Once again, we're going to get to the bottom of that shortly. So while we get that sorted out, we are going to bring in our very own armchair analyst, Matt Doyle.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Look at that.
Celebrity sighting.
He just appeared. It's wonderful to see Matt Doyle, who just filed his column, I'm sure, and had a lot to say about this one. But Matt, we want to get your sort of initial thoughts on this result, your big takeaways from the Canada-Belgium match that we just watched.
I mean, heartbroken for Canada, given how great they played today against what's been a very good Belgium team, though they were not very good by any measure today, other than Courtois. I kind of expected they would come out in the first 20 minutes with their hair on fire, trying to push and get a goal. I didn't expect them to keep that up for a solid 60 minutes. But they did. They put Belgium under so much pressure. They deserved the PK. I buy Christina's explanation for the second PK that they did not get. But even without that, they were creating chance after chance after chance. But it like, this is the difference between a good team and a great team. Great teams, teams that have been there before tend to find a way to get that goal, as Belgium did today. And Canada, making their debut, just didn't have that cutting edge. I come out of it thinking a little bit of the U.S. performance against Germany in 2002 in the quarterfinals.
100%.
I've been watching the U.S. play in the World Cup for 32 years. That is the only time that I've seen the U.S. dominate a good opponent to the level that Canada dominated Belgium today. The question I have coming out of it, though, is like, all right, that was the U.S. spent it all. They had nothing left to play for, and then they were out of the tournament. I think if they had played the next game, they would have lost 4-0 because they were just completely out of gas. I am worried coming out of this game that Canada spent so much that they won't have the same level of energy. And one of the things that made them so good in this game is that level of energy that they brought, especially against that Belgian back line. They were like, this was not the Canada that we saw in World Cup qualifying. Canada in World Cup qualifying had 26% possession against the U.S. 26%. They were pure counterattacking soccer in World Cup qualifying. In this game, they were taking it to Belgium way up the field. They're playing a much higher line against Belgium than they ever did against the U.S. and they ever did against Mexico, than they ever did against Costa Rica. So it was a reversal. I think Herdman was smart to do it because they played great, and you want to come out with that confidence on the front foot. And it made it a hell of a lot of fun to watch as a neutral. It takes a toll. It takes a toll. I think physically he just asked so much of these guys today.
Can I ask, though? I mean, we've all kind of agreed that Belgium is the strongest team in this group. And it would have been, obviously massive for them to get any sort of result against them. But now, up next, they've got Croatia and then a game against Morocco, who are, I would argue lesser opponents than Belgium. Does that change it at all for, I mean, can they, does the opponent matter, I guess? Or do you think that just physically, they exerted so much that it's just going to be tough to recreate?
I mean, the opponent absolutely does matter, right? And the other two teams in this group, they're good teams. They're not as dangerous as Belgium. Canada will not go into either of those games feeling fear in their bones about anything that they're facing. They should be confident going in there. But just rationally looking at it, we see teams empty the tank like that. It's tough to bounce back. And to be honest, that's what we saw throughout World Cup qualifying. When teams in those 3-game windows that we had for World Cup qualifying, the number of teams that got a big result in or played as hard as they could in leg 1 and then had anything left in the tank by leg 3, it was very small. I mean, think about the U.S. in the last World Cup qualifying window, right? They went to the Azteca and they emptied the tank for a point. They had that great result over Panama, and they went down to Costa Rica, got absolutely drilled because they had nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like it could play a factor, especially because that Morocco-Croatia game was very cagey. Both those teams are going to have plenty left in the tank. It's going to be something Herdman is going to have to address with, I think, maybe adjusting the tactics a little bit back to what we saw in World Cup qualifying, playing a little bit more against the ball, for one. And for two, there's going to have to be a certain amount of squad rotation, which they can do a little bit, but this team doesn't go 26 deep. They go more like 18 deep, and that can handcuff them here because, as David and Pa were saying, only four days between games, not 5, and that extra day matters.
I would throw in, though, a few elements. Obviously, you're talking about World Cup qualifying. The U.S. flew from Mexico City to Florida to Costa Rica, right? This is a 12.5-mile drive. So there's that. You also have the element of all the teams are in the same scenario. And I agree, Morocco-Croatia was obviously played at less of a intensity level, but every team has the same schedule of bouncing back and trying to deal with it. And the third thing I'd say is what I saw from Morocco against Croatia is I do actually think you want to sit deeper than what Canada did today. That's what troubled Croatia, was they weren't able to pull apart a team that was sitting in that mid block. And then Morocco tried to press in their moments. And that's where Canada, I think, takes a similar game plan. And their hope is when you turn them over, you're more efficient, dangerous, and successful than what Morocco did today. But I think that's the blueprint for the game for Canada, is what Morocco did this morning. And that's one that fits, as Doyle said, fits their team very well. It'll be comfortable. It's also probably that physical shift you need to be able to sustain for another 90 minutes.
Pa, are you back with us?
Hey! Yes, I'm back. I'm back in full effect.
Don't keep saying that, Pa, because then you go away.
Then I go away again. No, but listening to both of you, to your explanation, I think given this was the first game, they wanted to go out on the front foot. I think we are more likely to see Canada go back to their mid block, a little bit low block, and being that counter-attacking team, given that the next two opponents are not at the same level as Belgium. So I do believe that it will be more suited for them. But again, who knows? Maybe they want to go out again playing a high block. And I think trying to get the first goal matters, especially going into your second game. Trying to get the first goal, I think if Canada get the first goal, go back to that mid block, low block that they like to play, then they're the dangerous counter-attacking team. Because Morocco struggles with a team that's also sit in a deep block, because they don't have those creative players beside Ziyech.
Oh, no.
Oh, we got him.
Oh,
no, you're good.
Again?
You're good.
Okay.
You just ended. You ended so definitively. I think everybody.
I was like, wait, did he?
Definitively,
It looked like he was still talking. I was like,
no, I was. That was just the coach in me. That was just the coach in me finishing the sentence.
So effective. Well, Canada will play again. They will take on Croatia this Sunday at 11 a.m. And, just kind of looking ahead to that one, what are you hoping to see from them in terms of lineup, tactically? How do they approach this one? Pa, let's stick with you, because you're in the coach's zone right now. What will you be looking for?
Well, looking at the Herdman right after the game, which they normally do, they circle up and you can see that he's talking to the group. He's feeding the confidence. And I think there's a lot of confidence to take away from this game. Like to the point what Dave and Matt and myself were saying, they played very well. The moments that they had, they did not just take them. Now, against Croatia, can they do that? Can they be that team that take care of the chances that they have? But if you allow Croatia to play the way also they can play, they have a player in a world-class player in Modric who still affect games. It's not the same team that they had Croatia in 2018, but they are still a dangerous team enough to hurt you if you give them those opportunities. So Canada should regroup again, look at this from a positive standpoint that they played well, but then when those chances come, that Fonzie had the penalty, Kyle Laren had one header, which normally you would say he can score. Can they take care of these chances and then they have opportunity to win? I still believe in them, even though David has.
I didn't give up on anyone. The only
Call him
thing I
out,
gave up
Pa.
on was myself. I'm not strong enough to stick
Bust
with
his
it.
chops.
Yeah.
I encourage it. Doyle, what about you? What are you going to be looking for on Sunday from Canada?
I think Pod nailed it. I
Yeah.
want to see them, come out in that low block and invite Croatia forward and do what they did in qualifying and hitting behind and just make sure that you can. John Herdman and the guys on the team, they were very good about keeping their level up, their level of intensity up, even when they were playing against the ball like that. We've seen teams, even a team as good as Japan, I thought for 60 minutes today, they were playing deep and against the ball. And because of that, they became passive, right? And Canada throughout qualifying, even when they were playing deep and against the ball, they weren't passive. So I want to see that version of them. I want to make sure, I want to see them play with confidence and purpose and like just clarity when they get a chance to go forward, because that's what got them here in the first place. And whoever the personnel is out there, though, I will say, get Kyle Laren out there from the start. I thought Jonathan David struggled to sort of impose himself against the center backs. And I think David's a little bit better sort of playing as a shadow striker than he is as a true number 9, at least for this type of team, right? I think for certain teams, like if he goes to Arsenal, yeah, he fits as a 9 for Arsenal, but Canada don't play that way. So I think getting Laren back into the starting lineup, that is like the one obvious personnel move I would make. And then the rest of it comes down to, you talk to the players, you talk to your training staff, and you say, okay, whose legs are good to go and who do we need to rest from the start in this one?
Man, you're talking about Canada and Arsenal in the same sentence. You used to have to watch the Lithuanian league to know how players played for their club and for Canada. It has changed a lot.
Unattached FC was the greatest provider of players to the Canadian national team.
Fortunately, and I think it's only respectful for history, Lucas Cavallini was able to keep that connection, and Unattached FC has returned to the World Cup for Canada after 36 years. What's I think tough about the Croatia game is I do think you probably have to add one to central midfield because of Kovacic, Brozovic, and Modric, right? That's Croatia's strength. And so if you bring in Laren, do you drop Jonathan David in? Do you keep Junior Hoylett on the field? Do you keep Fonzie at left wing back? I think there are a few question marks and dominoes that fall from there. I'd be surprised if you didn't bring another piece in midfield. I wouldn't be shocked if that piece is Marc-Anthony Kaye or Sam Piette and that Eustachio's pushed up a little bit to be sort of a 10 in that 3-man midfield. But either way, you probably need to add that extra number in there to just cover what Croatia does well. But I would also love to see Laren in this game because if you do sit deeper, he's been a phenomenal outlet through World Cup qualifying because he's comfortable going out into the channels and playing as a winger and a creator. He also will pull center backs for David or Fonzie or whoever else to make those runs, but he can hold up the ball. He can win headers. He can flick on. So all of that stuff that you probably want to bring back into the team if that's how you're going to set up.
I love this. I want to also give a shout out to Matthew Hindley in the YouTube chat who says, love you, Pa, Pacific FC for life. So, Pa, you're getting some love in the YouTube comments. Just wanted to make sure that was
a glass plate.
And on that note of keeping things positive, I just want to make sure that we are we're celebrating what Canada achieved today, because I do think that, Pa talked a lot about it, and I thought he spoke about it so beautifully before the match started, just about, this is the world's eyes are suddenly on this country. They're an emerging soccer nation. And I think what they put out there on the field today was something to absolutely be proud of. They were the better team for significant stretches of this game. And they came out, as Pa said, with, sort of that like nothing to lose mentality. They were on the front foot. And I just, for their first World Cup appearance in 36 years, I think that we need to celebrate what Canada showcased today on the global soccer stage. And Gus, you're shaking your head. I know you got a lot of love for this country.
No. Sorry, I'm taking in so much of. Now I'm realizing everyone else watched this game too. And I'm seeing all the messages that I've been getting. So did you ask me?
Sorry. No, I just like from like a sort of big picture perspective, you know, I'm trying to keep it positive. I want to end on a high note here.
This was a moment that some people thought may never be possible. And for a lot of the people I know who have lived that, their messages have all been, I can't believe what I just saw. That's the team I wanted to see. That's the game I wanted to see. And I think for a lot of people, that's rewarding. I think there'll be Canadians who don't watch this team, but do watch soccer, who will be won over, which is the first battle. I think there'll be Canadians who don't watch soccer, who will have enjoyed and be proud of what they saw, who will be won over. And I think there's a lot of people around the world who don't watch Canadian soccer, who are going to tune in for sure when they take the field against Croatia and feel like they're going to get a show. And that's what you wanted out of this game. And I think you saw a lot of that. And John Herdman will bring that to this team and say they made Canadian soccer proud, but they've proven they're good enough to do that and win. And so there is steps to go, but there's positivity to take within the moments that we saw. And so I think this was a special day. It was going to be no matter what, but I don't think it could have gone that much better. But it could have, you know, if Alphonso Davies had scored, it would have been a little bit.
Whatever. Pa, we're so grateful that you joined us today. Just want to get your kind of final thoughts here on what you saw today, what you're looking forward to from this Canada team.
Same. I think they did their country. I think we'll be proud of. And just coming out there. 36 years ago was the last World Cup, 1986. They have again. They still can make it out of this group with the support behind them, behind the club, from the fans, from the country. They still have an opportunity out of this group, and that's for Herdman will for sure make sure that the players know that.
I love it. Optimism all around. Guys, I want to thank everybody on Twitch and on YouTube for joining us. I want to remind everyone too to stick around, head on over to MLS Twitter for Club and Country today. David Goss and Bobby Warshaw every
34 minutes.
Every game day at 5 p.m. Eastern. They'll wrap up the entire day of action, which is always really fun. Great commentary from those guys. Goss is pulling a double duty today. We love him for
I got to get to my production meeting.
I know. We got to wrap this up. And a big one on Black Friday, guys. Forget all the shopping. We got USA taking on England. We're going to be live on YouTube and Twitch basically on all MLS channels starting at 1:45 p.m. for another Club and Country watch along. You do not want to miss that. That is going to be so much fun. So yeah, come hang with us. I think Christina Uncle, as we said, is going to be back for that one as well. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Another day of action in the books. We appreciate y'all and enjoy your evening. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see y'all soon.